A rivalry that showcased some of college football's greatest names and greatest games. By 1978, this matchup took on national significance as the Tigers beat the Terrapins of the late drive. Steve Fuller and Dwight Clark are just two of the featured stars in a wild game that clinched a Gator Bowl berth. But last year, things turned ugly.
We have some problems. Boy, this game is not ending in the way that either team is going to be proud of.
Clemson coach Dan Ford will be banned today to the press box because of his behavior. And Maryland coach Bobby Ross is also upstairs, out because of an incident with a referee 2 weeks ago. Today, the rivalry resumes, and you can be sure that 34 years of memories, some of them bitter, linger. The eyes of tradition will be watching. Today, an ACC battle. First place Clemson against defending champion Maryland. The Terrapins are led by quarterback Dan Henning, whose pinpoint passing has paid off for 15 touchdowns. Clemson's man to watch is ACC rushing leader Terrence Flagler.
It's a rivalry with Clemson and Maryland, and we need to win this game to outright win the conference. We don't want to share. We have a share, but we want to have it undisputed.
Will Maryland spoil the victory party? We'll see, as it's the Tigers and Terrapins live from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore.
Powerful new financial help is coming. The Rock, the Prudential, is now more than insurance. It's mutual funds, home mortgages, IRAs, stocks and bonds, new products and new ideas. It's rock-solid financial help for us all. The Rock, the Prudential. It's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
Zenith's digital TV with teletext has instant news, weather, or sports information built in. So even during important programs, this television always knows the score. Zenith. Quality.
Who discovered electricity?
I don't know that. I wasn't living then, and I don't read that many books about electricity.
The most important thing to know about electricity is it's there when you need it. Your electric company makes sure.
This is CBS.
Kids will bend over backwards to make the deal. Do almost anything to get you behind the wheel of any Bill Kids Toyota car or truck. We'll bend over backwards to just say yup.
See why Bill Kids is Maryland's top Toyota dealer year after year after year. The biggest selection, the best service. And as for the best deals,
we'll bend over backwards to just say yup.
Commuter 106 preparing for takeoff.
Every day, thousands of travelers take to the skies on commuter airlines. Regional flyers play a vital role in our national transportation. But as traffic grows, so do concerns about pilot training, rapid turnover, and safety regulations. I'm Jane Miller. In a business where pilot experience can make all the difference in the world, it's important to know who's flying this plane. A News 11 close-up, Monday at 11 on News 11.
Sanford & Son, tonight at 11:30 on Channel 11.
Welcome to Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. Clemson and Maryland. Clemson, a victory away from clinching the ACC championship, and the Tigers will have the football first. Steve Griffin having trouble with it. He'll bring it out to the 15, to the 20, 25, and he returns it out to the 28-yard line. Coming over to make the stop was Leon Bray. Offensively, here's how the Tigers will look. Rodney Williams is 12-6 as a starter at quarterback. Flagler has 5 100-yard days. Lancaster, their fullback, an outstanding blocker. Ray Williams, their #1 rated kickoff return man in the school's history. Hooper is a walk-on, but he has really contributed, and Jim Riggs, he blocks like an offensive tackle. Williams and the Tigers will have it at the 28-yard line. Here is Flagler. And he's going to lose yardage. Back to the 26, a loss of 2, 2nd and 12. The offensive line is very young. Deulius is a sophomore. Pat Williams is a sophomore, former defensive lineman. Back, moved to center from a guard spot 2 weeks before the season began. This is the best that Danny Ford has had. He feels Phillips is as good as anybody that's ever played. And Jeff Nunemacher, a 280-pound sophomore. Clemson has lost the last 2 years to Maryland. They have really been a nemesis for this Tiger team. Second down, 11. That's Ray Williams in motion. Flagler, 30-35 penalty flag as he's able to get close to the first down. But let's see what the penalty is all about. I'm Gary Bender, along with the coach, Dick Vermeil, who's joined us on the college side of football here today. And Dick, there's something special about a college atmosphere.
It is. I'm a little disappointed in the turnout here right now. The crowd is just gradually filling in. It's cold around here right now, about 47 degrees.
Well, the other member of our broadcast team is John Dockery. Let's join him. Hey, Doc, where are you?
I'm up here, and behind me is the Clemson coaching booth, and that's Danny Ford. He's banned from the sidelines. He told me, as is Bobby Ross from Maryland, both of them for behavior banned from the sidelines. And it's interesting, Danny Ford just told me the thing he'll miss most is that face-to-face, head-to-head contact that tells you so much about your athletes. Danny Ford, unhappy about being up here. He'll be up here for the whole game. Bobby Ross just 20 yards down the hall, also away from the sidelines, up in the booth. Now back to part of history. The head coachless game is underway.
All right, John, thank you very much. A holding penalty on Clemson. Rodney Williams comes out throwing, and he has Ray Williams across the 30 to the 31-yard line. They're still going to be some 5 yards short of the first down. Ray Williams, a senior out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. The weather, well, Dick mentioned it a while ago. It is not so bad right now, Coach. Just wait a while, will you? Look at this, 42 degrees. When the sun goes down, you better button up your coat.
You bet. I have my coat buttoned up. What I should have bought was my duck hunting boots.
Here's the standings now. Clemson already has clinched a tie. They won an outright championship, their first since '82, if they can win here this afternoon. Third down, 5 yards to go. Williams to the airways again, and Jim Riggs, a big tight end, has a first down catch. Out to the 45. Riggs 6'5", a 245-pounder. Coach, they're supposed to stay on the ground. They're in the air right now. It's a 13-yard game.
They're changing up right off the bat, but that Riggs, the more you can get the ball in his hands, I think the better they will be, because he is a big physical run blocker. He's only caught 11 passes on the year, but I'll tell you, he's a pro prospect.
Can he block?
Oh, he annihilates people.
First down now from the 45. Clemson with the initial series of this football game. Williams gives to the fullback Lancaster. Chris Lancaster doesn't carry all that much, moves it out to the 49. Defensively now, let's look at the Terrapins. This is O'Brien Alston, vastly improved. Ted Chapman's a walk-on who's very steady. Klein now will be starting for the third straight game. Bob Arnold, he just gets the job done at that right guard. A pro prospect of this guy, Warren Powers, he's just a sophomore. And Sean Scott, they figure him to be the fastest defensive lineman they have. Second down, 6 to go. Williams in motion. Flagler, penetration. Bob Arnold got a piece of him, and he'll stop him at the midfield stripe. Arnold making the stop, and it'll bring up a third down. Here's the rest of the defense. Chuck Fossett, he is their leading tackler, very active. Richie Pettibone, he's had the flu all week long. Keita Covington, all ACC performer at left cornerback. Askew, a walk-on, very smart, very solid. And J.B. Brown, he might be their best athlete in that defensive secondary. Third down, 5 yards to go. Williams is going to keep this one, and Williams has the first down and then some. Inside the Maryland 40, he is dropped there, a 10-yard pickup on the play. Rodney Williams, the last 2 games, Dick, has really come on for this Clemson team.
He really has. He's hit 23 of 30 passes over the last 2 weeks, as you said, and prior to that, he was a 49% pass completion guy. Confidence level going up. I talked to him on the field here yesterday when they were here just, looking at the place, and he really feels he's getting better.
He was the number 3 high school prospected quarterback coming out of Columbia, South Carolina his senior year. He's 12-6 as a starter. Now has the first down at the 40 of Maryland. Williams going deep. Down there is Rulak. Terrence Rulak, number 15, and Keita Covington with a good coverage. I'll tell you, Dick, I'm surprised how much they're throwing the football. This is a running football team.
That shows you how much you can believe the coaches sometimes.
That's
They tell you,
right.
"Look, first thing we're going to do is establish the fullback inside so we can run that option." And here they are throwing the ball. It may help them, though, as they go along. It'll loosen up the defense a little bit. That's a wide tackle 6 defense with three deep, Gary. So I might loosen up that 8-man front.
Well, this is the number 4 rushing team in the country. They have not thrown the ball that well, but they've come out throwing here. Second down 10. That's Williams in motion again. Flagler looking for some running room. Doesn't get a lot of it. Maybe 2 yards at best. Bob Arnold is there to make the stop once again. Arnold, a junior out of Wycott, Pennsylvania. He just gets the best out of his ability.
He really does. But, you know, when you are one of 12 children, you learn how to play defense rapidly.
Or you fight for the dinner table, right? You talk about that wide tackle 6. They actually line up all those people across the field. Their defensive ends are like linebackers.
That's right.
And it's tough to run wide, isn't it?
It is.
Third down and 9. Williams some pressure, and he got it off anyway and incomplete. That was Flagler who tried to make the catch. It's ruled incomplete at the 35, but some real pressure put on Rodney Williams. Fawcett, number 11, was the guy who came storming up the middle. O'Brien Alston was over there to put the hit on Terrence Flagler.
Flagler came out of the backfield in motion, as you originally called, Gary, and he worked out in the flat, and O'Brien Alston came out there and played it just like you have to play it.
So the Tigers are going to have to get rid of the football. Going back to kick the football will be Bill Spires. And Keita Covington, who we weren't sure whether he'd return punts or not, drops back for Maryland. He's been having some headaches. They were going to relieve him of that role, but he's back for Bobby Ross. Spires kick. They're going to let it make it, hopefully, into the end zone, and it's going to be coming out to the 5-yard line. And so Maryland will have a long ways to go. That is a 34-yard punt by Spires. He's a walk-on. They had an SOS for punters in August. He won the battle, and he has done a very good job. We'll be back. Maryland has the ball.
Just when you need it most, Toyota introduces a roomy new kind of getaway car, the versatile new Toyota Corolla FX16. The all-new FX16 slips through traffic that snarls other cars. 16-valve quick. Tires that stick. 4-wheel disc equipped. The gutsy new Toyota FX16. What a way to get away from it all. Who could ask for anything more?
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa's putting smiles on American faces.
When you go with Napa, you go with confidence, because every Napa brand part is backed by the Napa National Warranty Program, the most extensive parts warranty program available. There's even a toll-free number to put you in touch with the nearest Napa Auto Parts store. So make sure it's Napa, because Napa keeps you going wherever you go.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa.
When McMahon's out, uncertainty sets in. Tomorrow, the Turbulent Bears meet the Falcons, a team fighting for a playoff berth. And it all starts with the NFL Today on CBS Sports.
0-0 to score. Maryland has the football for the first time. And Dick, the kind of offense they have, they don't want to be starting in this field position. This is very, very difficult with that defense the Tigers have. Bobby Ross, of course, banned from the sidelines. There he is up in the press box. He'll be coaching from there.
You know, you can coach a little bit better from there, but you can't get involved in the intensity of the ballgame from there.
Here we go now, just inside the 5-yard line. Dan Henning with his first snap of the football game. He's going to throw from the end zone. Got a lot of time coming out with it. The catch is made and dropped. Milling, James Milling had it and dropped it. Bring up second down. Let's go to New York. Here's Jim Nance.
All right, Gary, keep an eye on the football here. 4th and goal for Michigan. They trail by 7. Gerald White leaps into the air. The ball is jarred loose, but the officials score it as a touchdown. They say White broke the plane. Interesting, Schimbeckler went for 1, did not go for 2, so the game is tied under a minute to go. Back to Gary and Dick.
Thank you, Jim. Dick, you just looked at that and you said he did break the plane, right?
Yeah,
you saw it
like
all the way from here, huh?
On our monitor.
Henning trying to go deep to Milling, not making the connection. Second down, 10 inside the 5. That's Donato in motion number 20, and a whistle stopping everything.
Actually, that first pass should have been caught, but Delton Hall, number 35, the right corner, did a super job.
Delay a game. They didn't get it off in 25 seconds. be half the distance. Dan Henning, he's had 4 300-yard days at quarterback. Stephen Schreiber, he's played the best he's played in the last 3 games. Brent Lowry, a freshman redshirt, 3rd start in a row. Vernon Joins has 25 catches, touchdown last week. Milling weighs only 156, but he is deadly. And Farrell Edmonds, 6'6", he'll be a future #1 draft pick. So after the penalty now, it's going to bring up 2nd down and 11 yards to go. Henning trying to get some operating room, and it is tough sledding up the middle as Alvin Blount trying to move forward, gets about to the original line of scrimmage, and that's all. It'll be 3rd down. Agent is a freshman redshirt. A lot of future ahead of him. Rugg was a former center, now playing the guard spot. Bill Hughes is their best offensive lineman. Amon is really put together. They call him the Joe Palooka up front. And John Storna is playing, but he's playing hurt with a pinched nerve in his shoulder. 3rd down 12 now for Maryland. Henning has time again. Comes out with it and deflected and then caught by Schreiber, the fullback. And Schreiber gets him out of a jam out to the 27-yard line. It looked like that pass may have been deflected. It's a 23-yard gain. Dick, let's look at it again.
Dan Henning does a really nice job now. Right in the middle of the screen, number 12. He draws back. He sees the heat coming. He steps up. Good poise for the young quarterback. Throws it out there. Just tipped. Schreiber puts it away, and there he is using his running ability to get the 1st down. Critical big play right there.
Dorian Marable was the guy who had a hand on the ball. 23-yard gain to the 27. The Terps out of trouble. Blount with the ball. Alvin Blount, the senior out of Greenbout, Maryland, moving close to the 30-yard line. Let's look again at that last completion.
Concentrate on the running back, number 45, to the right side of your screen as he works out into the flat. Now watch him roll to the outside. He throws it right there. The defender comes inside out on it. Just really didn't deflect, just broke his vision, really. Maintain good concentration, runs for the 1st down.
Schreiber with that catch. Hasn't been thrown to all that much. That was his 15th, now 16th grab of the year. At the 30-yard line, 2nd down, 7 yards to go. Henning stopped, stepping up, being flushed out of there, and he comes up to the 35-yard line. He'll be 2 yards short of the 1st down. Defensively now, let's look at the Tigers of Clemson. Chavis, he's come back after some problems with an ankle. Stevens, their leading tackler at that nose guard spot. And here's the Fridge's younger brother, and he's a fine player in his own right. Earl has played the best down the stretch. Taylor had 9 tackles last week, a career high. And Ariable, his 1st start, Mack, their leading tackler. 3rd down, a yard to go. Schreiber, the big fullback. And he's got the 1st down to the 40-yard line. Schreiber drops at the 40. Maryland with a 1st down. Let's go back to New York. Here's Jim Nance.
All right, Gary, the last play of the game in Ann Arbor. Minnesota's Chip Low Miller from 31 yards. The field goal is good, and Minnesota stuns Michigan 20-17. Still, next week, the Wolverines will be playing for the Big Ten title against Ohio State. Let's go back to Gary and Dick.
Major upset. The Gophers winning that one. We have a man shaken up. Gene Beasley, the strong safety for Clemson. They're very thin at the secondary position, especially at free safety, with one man suspended for this game and another who had left the team because they did not give him enough playing time. So while we look over Beasley, we're going to take a break. There's no score from Baltimore's Memorial Stadium.
AT&T is in success stories for small business. Listen to how AT&T and telecommunications help turn small businesses into bigger ones, and learn to write your own success story.
Who says the little shrimp can't be big business? AT&T showed us how telemarketing can pull in customers from coast to coast.
Hi. AT&T explained how an 800 number in catalogs makes it easier for customers to reach me. Now, my bunny business is booming.
AT&T helped me turn my one-man shop into a 75-man operation. Now I'm wheeling and dealing cross-country.
Call 1-800-443-4520 now for your free booklets and learn how AT&T can help you manage field sales, improve customer service, expand markets, and ease cash flow with telecommunications ideas to grow on.
Why not let AT&T help put you on the high road, too?
AT&T, the right choice.
This is a beer that's everything a fine imported beer ought to be. It's brewed with all natural ingredients, the way fine imported beers are brewed. Bottled in tall green glass, the way fine imported beers are bottled. This is Rolling Rock Premium Beer, brewed by the Latrobe Brewing Company and imported in bottles and cans from Latrobe, PA.
CBS Sports presents college football live from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. It's the Clemson Tigers versus the Maryland Terrapins. Today's game is sponsored by your Toyota dealers in the all-new sporty Corolla FX16. Who could ask for anything more? Howard Johnson Hotels and Lodges. And by AC Delco, the smart parts. We come back to Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. First down now for Maryland at their own 40. No score, first quarter. 7.5 minutes to go in it. John Sullivan in motion. Bunt with the football. He may have lost a yard on the play. Excellent reaction by Otis Moore, number 81. They alternate. 3 defensive tackles on both the left and the right side. What depth they have.
As well as the nose guard position. The strength of the Clemson's football team really is their down lineman. In most college situations, it's a weakness. Here, it's a strength.
They don't have anybody that's made over 50 tackles. They have really distributed that well.
They don't play long enough to get mad.
Second down 11, or tired, right?
That's right.
Here's heading back. He's hit from the backside, and the ball will go incomplete. Good rush by Dwayne Meadows, number 84, a junior out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. There is a penalty flag, however. Meadows, another one of those guys we talked about, an alternate at the tackle spot.
Administrative management major, and he just administrated a little management on the quarterback.
I was going to ask you, what do you learn when you take that field of study?
I'm not really too sure, but there's quite a few guys on the roster with that as a major field.
Right now, let's sort this penalty out. The flag is back at the 50-yard line. It's going to be holding, and it's against the Tigers. Remember now, Maryland inherited this football at their own 4-yard line, got out of a real jam, and now will have yardage stepped off to their own 49.
Defense, holding, second down.
If I were Maryland right now, I'd get after and throwing the football because right now they have 2 really inexperienced safeties in the football game. And don't give that guy that just went off injured time to recover and get back in there and add the experience.
Beasley's the man that went off. Matt Riggs replaced him. Riggs playing both the free and the strong safety. Now is forced in at the free safety spot. So Clemson really thin at that particular spot as it is. James Lott was the starter. He's suspended because of his behavior in that game a year ago that was played in Death Valley. And then the other one, A.J. Johnson, was doing an outstanding job, but he just didn't think he was playing enough, so he left.
Not very persistent, was he?
We understand Beasley just shaken up. He will return. Second down, a yard to go. Donato, number 20, in motion. Inning play, action fake. And it's on target for the man we just mentioned, John Donato, a junior walk-on who's been getting a lot of playing time, coming up with his 12th catch. That's a 15-yard gain on the play.
Direct your attention to the quarterback in the middle of your screen. Now see him fake the run fake, then boot outside. Now he throws the ball right where it had to be thrown, right to the outside. Actually well covered by Donnell Wolford. He can't do it much better than that, but he had no underneath help.
I tell you what, though, Henning has poise, doesn't he? He looks like he's got all the time in the world. He never seems to be rattled. First down now to the 36 of Clemson. Blunt to the 30-yard line, penalty flag. He picked up 6 yards on the play, but again, the yellow flag is on the field. Each year, Maryland plays 1 game here at Memorial Stadium. Last year it was Miami of Florida. Next year it'll be Penn State. They're home away from home. The holding against the Terrapins. So that will momentarily stall that drive. This Maryland team, Dick, is a little bit different. In the years past, they've run very well, but their rushing game hasn't materialized, and I think Bobby Ross said it best. We're just not as physical up front as we used to be.
And they're a little bit inexperienced across the front, too. And without that experience in the offensive line, all the variations you see in college football from week to week really give the younger guy problems, technique-wise and mental-wise.
After the penalty now, it's first down, 17 yards to go. From the 44 of Clemson. Henning, Blunt, Blunt picks his way to the 40. He'll still be a long way short of the first down. And it's going to bring up a second down. Blunt is the guy who's played very well against the Tigers. He had 214 yards against them back in 1984.
7.4 average per carry. Scored 2 touchdowns in the ball game. A law enforcement major. So he's dictating a little bit out there right now.
I'll tell you right now, I would, whatever he said would go with me, all right? At the 40 now. Second down. 14 yards to go. Henning with time. And this is Milling. He can't get it. Milling diving for the ball inside the 15. Delton Hall, who has 4 interceptions for the Tigers, was there, but Milling had the inside route. He had it all the way.
Really, and Delton Hall had no inside help, and if that ball would have been on the money, Milling would have had his 7th touchdown on the year, and this guy catches a lot of touchdowns.
Not very big, is he, Coach? No. You'd look at him at 156 pounds, and the computer would say reject.
5'9"
the place.
Randy Fataha type. Remember Randy Fataha?
Sure do, at Stanford. Third down now, 14. Milling, and the ball is dropped. Momentarily, Sean Sullivan, number 89, had it, and then could not hang on. And it brings up 4th down. There he is, Sullivan, senior out of Pennsylvania. Been a very solid player for this team.
It appeared, Gary, that he started to run with the football before he caught it. All the way from here, I thought I saw him turn his head and become a running back before he actually put the ball away.
This is Darrell Wright, a junior who will go back to punt. He's second in the ACC. He had 2 punts blocked in this game last year. Wolford, 20, will go back to receive it. A rush coming, and he gets off a wobbly kick. Not a good one at all. Does get a little bit of a roll, and it'll go out of bounds at the 14-yard line. 24-yard punt that time. So the Tigers will have the football for the second time. Clemson needs a victory to win the ACC championship.
Once upon a time, millions of us roamed the bathrooms of America.
We're bull shavers, convinced we had to use shavers with all kinds of expensive extras.
But we don't pay an arm and a hoof anymore, because us bull shavers are becoming
Bic shavers. Bic gives us an extraordinary shave at an extraordinary price, without bells or whistles. To pay more makes you, well, bullheaded. Try the Bic for normal or sensitive skin, and you too will have a beef.
With bull shaving.
When you think of one name that means everything in coffee makers.
What's the one that comes to everyone's mind?
Mr. Coffee. Because Mr. Coffee's been America's best-selling brand for over 12 years.
You might select Mr. Coffee under the cabinet.
Or Mr. Coffee Jr.
Or the new International Design Series, the newest member of the Mr. Coffee family.
Style.
Quality.
Dependability.
And of course, all this from Mr. Coffee.
Save up to $250 on your home heating oil bill. Call Buyers Up, a nonprofit cooperative at 685-5400 for more information.
Well, Dick Vermeil, we've called this the coachless game. Can you relate to some of that emotion that got the coaches up in the press box?
Oh, I really can. I've been very close to that same situation myself. I don't agree with them being put up here. I think that's part of the football game. Most people don't realize how intense and how emotional it is down in that field, especially when you're naturally that kind of guy. I feel for him right now.
I can feel the intensity here. I don't even have to go down the sideline.
It's a football game.
That's right. But they don't like where they are. That's quite obvious, Dick. But you said that they're not the kind of coaches where it'll affect their play calling.
Well, neither one of them call the offense or defense themselves.
Clemson has the football after that 24-yard punt. Rodney Williams getting straight ahead to Tracy Johnson, the backup fullback, and he'll wedge it out to the 17-yard line. Bring up second down. This Clemson team, very, very young up front, Dick. They are the youngest offensive line in 41 years. That's going back to the 40s, and it's amazing how efficient they've been.
Where did you ever come up with that stat?
Well, they've got all sophomores and one junior up front.
Most of them have redshirted, so that really makes them one more year in terms of coaching experience on the field.
Second down now, 7 yards to go. That's Williams, 45 in motion. Flagler the other way. He's tripped up and gets to about the 20-yard line, and right now this wide tackle 6 of Maryland's has played the run pretty effectively. As you probably know if you've been following CBS Sports all day long, we've been having a phone survey on whether or not there should be an annual game to decide the national championship in college football. That's the question we're asking, and you can cast your vote by simply dialing the number listed next to the category of your choice. There's a charge of 50 cents per call. 93% at this present stage are in favor. Third down and 5. Williams, and he can't make the connection. Intended receivers Rulak at the 29-yard line, and so they'll have to get rid of the football.
Chuck Fawcett, number 11, the linebacker, really did a nice job of forcing the bad throw. To the left side of your screen, number 11, Chuck Fawcett comes inside out. Now he attacks the quarterback, forces a bad throw. Otherwise, he might have been able to stick that one in there.
Spires will punt the football. He's third in the ACC. He leads the ACC, however, in net yards. Back deep this time is Anderson, and that one is not kicked well. It's off the side of his foot. And it's going to take a Maryland bounce and die at the midfield stripe.
Danny Ford was right in his concern in regard to the kicking game last night. He said, in terms of everything's equal, they have a better kicking game than we do.
That was only a 29-yard punt. And this time, Maryland has very good field position.
There's a time to think about life insurance, and State Farm is there.
I'm State Farm agent Mike Callen. The biggest reasons young parents start thinking about life insurance are kids. Parents want someone who can explain life insurance and someone who knows how to listen too, so it'll fit their needs. And as a family's needs grow and change, they want someone who will be there to keep that life insurance up to date. That's why they come to State Farm agents.
And like a good neighbor,
And that's why they stay.
State Farm is there.
Look, out on the lawn. It's a barbecue. It's a raft. It's the kids. This looks like a job for Toyota Wonder Wagon. The 1987 Wonder Wagon, able to carry cargo and up to 7 people in a single trip. Able to switch to 4-wheel drive. Able to turn on a dime. Even able to make ice. If your wagon can't do this, it may be a job for Toyota Wonder Wagon.
Reckless with passion.
Darling.
Ruthless with power.
You show me that land.
The story no one dared to tell, so we made it all up. Fresno.
No score at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore in this Clemson-Maryland ACC battle. You probably know Maryland's Bobby Ross was banned from the sidelines for one game after he chased and grabbed an official after his loss to North Carolina. But I tell you what, no one feels worse about that incident, Dick Vermeil, than Bobby Ross is. He's up here somewhere in the press box.
And he said, you know, Dick, I'm not that tough. I had no intention of hitting the guy. I just wanted to be able to explain my situation before he got out of there and didn't have to assume the responsibility for his mistakes.
No pressure in coaching, huh?
Oh, no, none whatsoever.
First down now, just inside the Clemson end of the field. Henning on first down to throw. Protection broken up, and good reaction that time. It looked like coming over was Otis Moore, number 81, or was it Michael Dean Perry? It was Moore, along with Terrence Mack. They got their hands up. There's Moore. He's played more than anybody in that defensive line, a freshman redshirt.
He'll come from the left side of your screen. Both Perry, 91, and Otis Moore, 81. Get their hands up when the quarterback cocks to throw. 91 is Perry. There he goes, the inside 81, Otis Moore batting the ball, playing volleyball with him.
Henning will now have a 2nd and 10. He's going up top. Milling's got his man beaten, but it's overthrown. Boy, they've been close on 2 of them now. Wolford defending on the play, and Henning is limping just a little bit after throwing the football. Boy, they have been on near misses twice now to Milling, as Henning now is 2 of 7 for 38 yards.
And Henning can throw those touchdown passes. In fact, I was talking to his dad the other day on the phone, Dan Henning, head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and he said his son just broke his family touchdown passing record. Dan Sr. had thrown a long touchdown pass as a player in, where was it, William and Mary?
William and Mary.
And here the young man throws an 88-yarder and beats the family record.
I think his daddy's is what, 77?
Yes.
Third down 10 now. Henning, a penalty flag, scrambling out. Perry couldn't get to him, and here comes Henning to the 45 and knocked out of bounds. But as we mentioned, there is a penalty flag. A lot of penalties in this first quarter of play with 3:40 left in it. Let's watch now and see what this will be first. It's going to be, there's Michael Dean Perry, the Fridges brother, offside against Clemson. Let's get back to Henning a little bit, Coach. The one thing that impresses me is his poise. He doesn't have the great rifle arm. He has kind of a slingshot type arm and gets the job done.
He has a good touch on the ball. He'll sit in there nicely, and as long as he gets set up, his arm is plenty strong. The only time he'll have a
Defense
problem
lined
is
up in the neutral zone.
if he tries to throw off balance. That'll be the only time he has a problem.
Well, he has come much further than Bobby Ross expected him to. It's the first year they had started the year without a quarterback that had lettered at that position. Here we go now. 3rd down 5 after the offside. Henning up the middle. This is Neal. Neal to the 30, 25, 20. Tommy Neal, 24-yard gain. Gene Beasley with a stop. Let's go now to John Dockery.
Thank you, Gary. Now, you know both coaches are in the press box, each handling it slightly differently. Bobby Ross directly involved. He's on the headset to assistant coach Jeff Mann. Danny Ford, on the other hand, didn't want to be on the headset, so he's not. He'll take information from his coaches in the box and then make the decision. Now back to you, Gary.
Tommy Neal with his first carry. They said they thought he would be effective today. Looked very sharp in practice this week. This is Schreiber, the fullback. Schreiber can't find any place to go, and he'll be dropped for a half-yard loss on the play. John Rugg, by the way, is out of there in that offensive line right now for Maryland. And Joe Giuliano, number 65, has replaced him. Rugg has been playing with a hyperextended elbow. As you look at that forward wall now, it's a very young offensive line, a junior, 3 juniors, I should say, a freshman and a sophomore in that starting lineup. Look at this. Spinner for North Carolina in that game had 328 yards rushing. And coming up at half, the Prudential College Football Report with Jim Nance. Heading back on a 2nd and 11. Incomplete. Terrence Mack, number 12, over there defending on the play. Tommy Neal, the man intended for the pass. Tommy Neal has just had all kinds of injury problems. He had a great game against Clemson in '84, 113 yards. If they could just keep him healthy, Dick.
He's their best running back. There's no question about it. He has a career rush of 1,443 yards, 5.8 average. Just give him the ball if he's going to keep that average.
Henning now has missed 5 passes in a row. He has a 3rd and 11. Going up top again. Let's see if that's inbounds or out of bounds. It's going to be a rule to catch by Vernon Joins. Joins going up against Wolford. 19-yarder, 1st and goal, Maryland.
You're going to see here Vernon Joins, number 80, go up in the air. Now, you have to realize this. This kid, Vernon Joins, won the state high school high jump. He can get up there and take advantage of his already 6'1" frame.
1st and goal now at the 2. Schreiber goes in motion. Tommy Neal trying to get it in, diving. And he's going to be short. It'll bring up with a 2nd and goal there.
That is such a frustrating situation for a defensive corner. He actually had the man covered man to man, but he just couldn't, get up the same height. He didn't come close to breaking the plane on this one, Gary. Takes the ball just a deep handoff out of the fullback position. Good job of defense. He got up in the air, but so did they. They met him underneath the pads and knocked him back.
Henry Carter is in on that stop, a linebacker. 2nd and goal at the 1-foot line. Joins in motion. Neal again, and he's going to get it in this time. Touchdown. On the point after attempt.
He'd never missed one.
He's 42 for 42 now, Coach.
Yeah. Wait till he gets in pro football, then he'll start missing.
The Terrapins have jumped on top. They lead it 7-0.
If you think physical fitness can help you get ahead in business,
Subscribe to the Wall Street Journal and see what mental fitness can do.
Call 800-445-7500 for this special introductory offer. 13 weeks for just $29.50 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.50. Phone 800-445-7500 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Is this Howard Johnson?
Yes, sir. There's been a lot of changes. You might say we're turning the place upside down.
You know, a lot is changing at Howard Johnson. New rooms, new furnishings, and new attention to service. It's different. I like it.
1 second. I'm just straightening up.
No matter how you look at it,
This is Howard Johnson.
we're turning Howard Johnson upside down.
Now you see Vernon Joins, number 80, coming in motion. Here he is. He's trying to soft the corner, get the force block right there. He gives the ball to Tommy Neal. He definitely is in the end zone for his 15th career touchdown. This guy has been a productive guy inside that 5 and 10 yard line. He has a touchdown every 18th carry as a running back in his career here. That's pretty darn good.
Well, the coaches sensed something about him, Dick. They said, we think he's been very sharp all week long. We expect a good game out of him, and he has scored the first touchdown of this game.
You know what it means when you score the first touchdown for Maryland this year.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we talked, Dick, about how you win football games. I thought it was interesting you had these winning percentages. Talent and coaching.
That's just the philosophy and the thought. But talent and coaching has got to be at least 60% of it. Motivation today, especially in pro football, has got to be about 25% of it because they're all good players. Good fortune, I recognize more of being in the booth the last few years, plays a big part of the success of a ball game, especially when two teams are even.
How about motivation as opposed to the professional ranks? Big difference between college and the pros?
Well, I don't think it's as critical in college football as it is in pro football because the teams are you're always playing a championship caliber team in pro football every Sunday.
Ramon Paredes will be kicking off now for Maryland. Brulac, who leads the nation in kickoff returns, is back, but it's going to be instead Steve Griffin. Up to the 25, has an alley to the 40, 45, 50, and Griffin will get to the Maryland 40-yard line. Irvin Smith eventually caught up with him, a 46-yard kickoff return.
He did a good job of just feeling his way. Now that's the longest return on the year. Here he is, taking the ball. He gets it tucked under in his right arm. He gets a block right there. Now he's getting upfield. Now you'll see the kicker getting in position to try to get out of the way. Really, he gets knocked on his canasta right there. Wow, down he goes. That's his longest return of the year.
Now they say officially it's 48 yards. Steve Griffin, he's the third-string tailback. And there's a penalty now being tacked on at the end of this play.
Dead ball, personal foul, hitting out of bounds.
Griffin was hit out of bounds, so they tack on 15 yards, and that's going to move it inside the 25-yard line.
That's when emotion and intensity overpowers good common sense.
Kenny Flowers has come in at the tailback spot. Like they're getting a breather. Here is Flowers. Start of the year, they were labeling him a Heisman Trophy candidate. He's been hurt a lot this year, and Flowers close to the 20-yard line before he's knocked down. It'll bring up a second down, 8 yards to go. Tomorrow on the NFL Today, Dan Deerdorf joins Brent and Jimmy in the studio. Also, the man who's done such an outstanding job with Minnesota, the man known as Burnsy, Jerry Burns, will be there. And a special on Mr. Dirt, Conrad Dobler, the former offensive guard. He'll be a special guest in the studio tomorrow. Second down and 8. Williams, Brulac, he's dropped instantly. Short of the first down, inside the 15 to the 14. Lewis Askew over there. Let's see if he did get the first down. He may have. It's going to be very close.
That Lewis Askew is an interesting young man, a college walk-on, engineering major, and really a fine defensive corner. Doing a great job all season, and the coaches actually think he might be an NFL prospect.
It's amazing how many walk-ons have contributed to both these teams. Let's see if he got the first down.
I love those kind of players. Did he make it?
Well, I don't know. You can't see from here. I guess he didn't. It's a matter of an inch or two.
You know, walk-ons like him they're inspirations to young kids that don't get the college scholarships. You know, so many of them have been successful. pro football as well. Michael Sherrod went from a walk-on at UCLA to a #1 draft choice for the Dallas Cowboys this year.
Well, you found a lot of guys when you're out recruiting. When you're in college, you'd run into somebody else when you're looking at somebody else on a film.
I could think of Steve Penny, a free agent from Clemson. Those kind of guys. Al Latimer, a free agent from Clemson, made a big contribution to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Third down in a matter of inches. And Williams will take it straight ahead. Wedging it forward. The Tigers will keep this drive going. First down. So that 48-yard kickoff return, the 15-yard personal foul against Maryland has put the Tigers now in a position to tie this football game up. You see the time remaining in the first quarter.
I'll tell you, with the success Flagler has in scoring with the ball under his arm, you'd be surprised he's not back in there.
Tracy Johnson is the fullback. Kenny Flowers is the tailback. It's going to be Johnson, the fullback, inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Johnson and Lancaster will alternate at that fullback spot. What impresses me about the fullback, Coach, is that they really sell him on the job of being a blocker. And we're going to talk about that, but right now we're going to be back after this message and a word from your local station.
You might get caught out in the middle of nowhere with a dead battery, but I won't. This is a Delco maintenance-free battery, and when this green eye is showing, it means I've got all the starting power I need, up to 770 cranking amps. If you think your battery's fading fast, I'd start thinking Delco.
Now through January 3rd, get a $5 rebate on most Delco batteries. See a participating AC Delco retailer for details.
Never wait for trouble.
Hello, Dallas.
Well, hi, Chicago. Sounds a little crazy, but we wanted to see if the new fiber optic phone line in the system being built by U.S. Sprint really was so incredibly quiet that you could actually hear a pin drop.
Got it? Loud and clear. That was a pin?
So call now. Find out more and save with U.S. Sprint, where every fiber optic call sounds like you're right next door.
This is CBS.
Honda has challenged the greater Baltimore area Honda dealers to set a new all-time sales record. They've accepted the challenge, so the Great Honda Challenge sale is on, and they're dealing like never before. All models are included, all sales price for this Great Honda Challenge sale. Even the hard-to-find models are included. Save extra hundreds, even thousands on the Honda model of your choice. Buy now and demand the deal you want at your greater Baltimore area Honda dealers.
Did anybody see what happened? No, accident. There's no accident.
We'll have to make an accident report here.
Accident report? You're gonna need a lawyer. Lawyer? What an accident. I'm a witness. Worst accident I've ever covered.
There's no accident.
Uh-oh. Better get Mako.
Mako state-of-the-art auto painting and body repair. High-tech, low prices keep Mako on top.
And that's no accident.
If they're saying, uh-oh, better get Mako.
You're watching Channel 11 WBAL-TV in Baltimore.
Bobby Ross's team leads it 7-0 as he watches from the press box, but right now Clemson inside the 10 at the 9 with a second down and 7 yards to go. Coach, I was just mentioning before the end of the quarter how they sell their fullbacks on blocking. They really take great pride in it.
They have the same attitude with the fullback as I think they do with the right guard. You know what I mean? Block people.
They knock them down, the knockdown blocks. They keep a very close tab on that. Here straight ahead is Johnson, and Johnson very close. And they're not going to give him the touchdown. He is just short. Good second effort by Tracy Johnson. And Johnson's got it to the 1-foot line.
He can smell the end zone, this kid. Now watch the quarterback come down the line of scrimmage. He's reading the option. He hands it off. A nice hole right in there. He almost gets it in there. Number 11, Fawcett, comes over and does a good job, as does Askew, number 13. Now, Tracy Johnson, only touchdown in his career was scored against Maryland.
First and goal. Here's Williams trying to sneak it in, and touchdown.
nothing very complicated about this. Bossette, number 11, getting ready to try to eat his lunch. He can't get to him. He went over the top, and the quarterback, Rod Williams, instead of quarterbacking straight ahead where that mad guy was, he just slid off to the right. Take a look at this, Gary.
He calls this the water bug shift or water boy.
bucket.
Water bucket shift, right. I never could figure out why he calls it that.
If they moved over properly from a defensive standpoint, he was going to throw the pass for a 2-point play.
David Treadwell, who has never missed a point after, adds one. And we're all even at 7. Both teams have scored on 1-yard touchdown runs. Impressive drives in this battle from Baltimore.
Today's Equitable has new life insurance ideas that can provide money for a secure and comfortable retirement. Today's Equitable, your key to financial opportunity. We have new kinds of insurance that do more than just protect your family. They can help you earn the money for your new home. Today's Equitable, your key to financial opportunity. Our new insurance ideas can do a lot for you. Talk to us. Your key to financial opportunity.
Driving on your old antifreeze another year can be risky. Weak, neglected antifreeze can cause freeze-up and make a radiator look this bad, while the Prestone radiator looks this good. So don't push your luck, change it once a year with fresh Prestone.
The top of your TV should be more than just a shelf for your VCR, so Zenith designed a slim, new midsize that does just about everything but take up space. Zenith. Quality.
Lost for centuries, 400 million in treasure. How far will one man go to find his lifetime dream? Cliff Robertson and Loretta Swit in Dreams of Gold tonight on CBS.
7-7 our score. Now Clemson looks like they're going back to what they do best, just running the ball right at you.
Yeah, well, the penalty there really helped them too, Gary. Gave them a little better field position after the long kickoff return.
Well, they had the 48-yard kickoff return, but they looked so comfortable. You were talking about the unselfishness of the fullback. Johnson punched it down there to the 1-foot line.
I think that's one of the major attributes of college football and team sports. They teach you to be a team guy. You know, selfish people, all wrapped up in themselves, make a very small package. And one thing in football, you teach people to be a team guy.
Some of that team now huddled down on the sideline, the defensive core. 7-7 our score. Maryland scoring first at the 1:41 mark of the first quarter, and now, just moments ago, at the 14:35 mark of the second quarter, the Tigers have tied it up. Rusty Sile, number 19, will be kicking off for Clemson. Mike Anderson, 31, the deep man for Maryland. The Tigers need a victory to clinch an outright championship here in the ACC.
Good hang time on that kick, Gary. It's up in the air a long time.
Anderson to the 20, 25, and he'll get to the 27-yard line, and a penalty flag is going to be thrown. Going to have a clipping against Maryland. And so they will not have the field position they'd like to have. They were out across the 25, and it'll come backwards.
Seems like an NFL game with a penalty on a kicking play, does it not?
That's right.
Clipping on the run back. First down.
So they will inherit the football now at the 13-yard line. Here's Dan Henning. Remember, on that one drive, he really delivered on that third down.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him come right out of here with a play-action pass and get after it. You know, that's what they did the last time they were backed up coming out.
14:28 to go now until halftime. 7-7 our score. It's Millen in motion. Play-action fake. Beautifully set up. Henning. The catch by Millen. First down to the 30-yard line. Now, let's go back to New York. Here's Jim Nance.
All right, Gary, here's UCLA running the option, and Matt Stevens, the quarterback, keeps it and goes 25 yards for the game's first score. UCLA 7-0, 9 minutes to go first half. Back to Gary and Dick.
UCLA never likes to play in Seattle, do they, Dick?
They used to worry more about the rain, really, than we did Seattle. Never won up there as a coach.
From the 30-yard line now, after that first down catch, Maryland. Bonato in motion. Schreiber, the fullback. He'll bring it out to the 33. Let's go back to that last pass completion that picked up the first down for Maryland.
Dan Henning, number 12, did a super job of just laying this ball in. Look at the poise. Just laid it up, got the ball high, and laid it over the top of the defender in the crease of the zone, out of bounds. Nice completion to James Millings, number 22. Very well executed pass. He knows what he's doing with the ball.
Boy, he faked it well, didn't he, on that play action? Second down now, 7 yards to go for Maryland. Tommy Neal off to a big day across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Looks like he might have one of those record days the way he started out. Gene Beasley made the stop, a 9-yard pickup. Already 35 yards on 4 carries and a touchdown. That's coming up at halftime. The Prudential College Football Report with Jim Nance.
That's the second time they've run that play. A little crossing action with the backs. They may be keying on the fullback and then hand it off back the other way because that one broke nicely again going back across the green.
From the 42-yard line, first down Maryland. Earl Edmonds, the tight end now, number 93 in motion. Henning looking that way. He's going to flip it off to Neal, and ball all of a sudden getting away. All right, let's check in now with John Dockery.
Thank you, Gary. Normally this man would be chasing opposing ball carriers. Bruce Messner, all-conference tackle. And Bruce, what's it like for the team not having a head coach on the sidelines?
Oh, it's not that big of a deal because he just gets behind us morale-wise. We can get the plays called and the defense is called, no problem. Just a pat on the ass isn't there when he's there up in the press box.
What about Clemson?
They're a good team. They're a real good team. They're showing it. They're not going to die. We're not going to die. It's going to go down to the end.
All right, thank you. Now back up to you, Gary.
Okay, Bruce. Well said.
That's being honest.
Yes, it is. Here's Edmonds, and he dropped the football. That's twice now that the pass should have been caught. Henning hitting his 6'6" tight end who cannot hang on. Edmonds coming in here with 26 catches.
And you know something? They count that against the quarterback as an incomplete pass.
That's right. Edmonds, you look at him, he looks even bigger than 6'6", 235. And what a future he should have in the NFL when he gets out of here. He's just a junior.
They say he has 4.6 speed. He's going to have to improve his blocking on the films that I saw, but I'm sure he has the frame to do that.
Third down 10. The blitz. Matt Riggs coming after him, and Henning had to get rid of it. Matt Riggs all the way from a safety blitz, untouched, messing up that play, and Maryland will have to punt the football. There he is. He's the younger brother of tight end Jim Riggs.
Focus your attention to the right side of the screen. You'll see number 34. Here he comes. He actually got started late. No one to pick him up. They're outnumbered over there. Quarterback did a good job of preventing the sack and just unloading the football.
Well, they're going to have to circle the wagons if they continue to do that. Here is Wright to punt the football. Wolford will go back now for the Tigers. 13 minutes to go, second quarter, 7-7 our score. Wright didn't hit that one very well, but it's going to bounce into the grass for Wolford, and Wolford will be swallowed up at the 27-yard line. Comes away with a 40-yard punt, and we have yet another penalty flag. Seems as though every time we've exchanged the ball, there's been a flag on the field. We have a man also shaken up for the Maryland Terrapins. Been a lot of injuries this year for Maryland. It's Sobrowski, John Sobrowski, who is an inside linebacker, and with the injury to Kevin Walker last week against Penn State, they were expecting Sobrowski to play a lot, Dick, and that will really deplete their depth at that spot.
It will. And he's a pretty good football player. I watched him on the practice field the other day. He backs up Chuck Fassett, number 11. And, it doesn't look like he's banged up too bad, and he's probably going to be back in.
Flipping on the run back. First down.
So both teams now have been guilty of a clip. This time it's Clemson, and it'll move the ball inside the 15-yard line. What's happened is Kevin Walker was a starting inside linebacker with Fassett. Pettibone replaced Walker, who's out with a severely pulled groin. Sobrowski was to be the backup to those two guys. So it looks like he'll be able to continue. We're all tied up here.
This is the dawn of a new day for the station wagon. Introducing the all-new 1987 Toyota Camry wagon. Camry now combines the wide-open spaces of a wagon, the passing power of a new 16-valve fuel-efficient engine, and the Toyota quality that has made Camry the most trouble-free new car, domestic or import, sold in America.
It's more like the smooth Dutch European beer that I'm
accustomed to. I would say it's equally as good as any of the top beers in Europe.
Tastes imported, but it's really America's own. Genesee 12-horse ale.
I hate to admit it. Even being from Holland, I think it's better than the Dutch beer.
Full-body Genesee 12-horse ale tastes imported, but it's America's own. And with a holiday gift pack, you not only get ale as good as gold, but the tin, too.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
The kids really like what we got them for Christmas. Radio Shack Space Patrol walkie-talkies. They're terrific outdoor fun. They have flexible antennas to withstand rugged use. And built-in Morse code keys with the code alphabet on the front, so they can talk or send messages in code. The kids like them, and I love them. Come in, Space Patrol. Time to report for dinner.
Space Patrol walkie-talkies, only at Radio Shack.
Gary Bender along with Dick Vermeil. We have that amount of time remaining in the first half. As you can see, it's 7 apiece. Clemson, after the flip on the punt, has the football at the 14-yard line. Kenny Flowers now running a tailback out across the 15 to the 17-yard line. Askew made the stop. It's been a long struggle for Kenny Flowers. As we said at the start of the year, he was billed as their Heisman Trophy candidate, had some off-the-field problems, an injury, and Terrence Flagler took over, and Flowers just can't get back in that starting lineup.
And Flowers is actually the faster of the two backs, but Flagler did so well when he took over that job and matured at the position, he can't get his job back.
He's had 11 100-yard rushing days in his career. Second down, 7. Play action, Williams, and that's the tight end, Riggs. Riggs out to the 25, and he's got the first down.
Now there's a guy that would have an excuse for dropping the ball because he's only had 13 of them thrown at him this year, catching 11, that being his 12. You know, he'd have a reason, his hands might be rusty. But boy, can he block you. Oh, on the films that we watch, he takes linebackers. He has, believe this or not, 49 knockdown blocks where he put the guy on his back.
On his derriere?
Oh,
wherever.
Wherever you call it, he put him there.
He's 2 for 21 today, and you know, a lot of guys say, who is Jim Riggs? Because he doesn't catch that many passes, but I'll tell you, the scouts know who he is.
Oh, you bet they. Plus, the guy can run between 4'6" and 4'7".
Put that in a 6'5", 245-pound frame, and that's pretty good. Now they have two tight ends, Jerome Williams and James Coley have come in. First down. This is the fullback Lancaster, and out to the 30-yard line. Now time to present this week's Toyota Leadership Award to team players who have been singled out by their school's coaching and faculty staff for outstanding performance in the areas of team contributions, academics, and citizenship. Today's game team winners are Bill Spires from Clemson. He's a sophomore in the study of insects. Major with a 3-point grade average from Cameron, South Carolina, and Stephen Schreiber from Maryland. Stephen's a senior in finance major with a 2.8 GPA, and Toyota will donate a check in the amount of $1,000 to each of the school's general scholarships. This is going to be Ray Williams on the receiving end of that. 9-yard pickup out to the 39-yard line.
You wouldn't want to miss that tackle on Ray Williams. The guy stole 45 of 49 bases as a baseball player for Clemson. In high school, he stole 113 of 115 attempts. He can really use his quickness.
Well, he had 30 home runs, too. He didn't have to steal then, right?
I know it. But if you missed him out there in that one-on-one situation, he'd be gone.
Brulac now in motion for Clemson. First down, just short of the 40-yard line. Good movement this time by Flowers. Flowers showing his outstanding running ability. He has a 60-yard dash record at Clemson. That's a 7-yard pickup. Neil Sampson, 75, made the stop.
Take a look at the offensive right guard, number 61. Turn the people out right there. Does a nice job of opening that hole. That's John Phillips. They think is a true All-American offensive guard.
In fact, Danny Ford says the best he's ever had, and they've had some good ones. Steve Reese, Jamie Farr,
Bostic.
Yep. Second down now, 3 yards to go. Straight ahead football, a first down this time by Chris Lancaster. Boy, they've got that option humming now.
To the right side of your screen, number 61, John Phillips coming off the ball. There he goes. Does a good job of taking on Parker, gets him turned out. Oh, he's got a little hold on there with his left hand. They learned that early. I thought they started learning that their rookie year in pro football.
Well, this guy's going to play in the NFL. They're a junior. Bruce Pine, I should say, Bruce Pine, North Carolina. First down, just short of the 50-yard line. Here comes Williams on the option, pitching to Flowers, and nothing doing this time. J.B. Brown, number 4, the safety, was up there almost as quickly as the football.
They had a stunt on the outside linebacker. They call a defensive end, stunted the inside, and the safety, number 4, J.B. Brown, came up there with the responsibility of taking the pitch man, and he fulfilled his responsibility. He got there.
Well, they say he's the quickest safety they've ever had, and also maybe the best athlete back there, just a sophomore out of Fort Washington, Maryland.
One of the few freshmen that lettered as a true freshman.
Second down now, 13. Klein has come into the ball game. Tommy Parker's checked out at defensive tackle for Maryland. Williams rears up, throws, and completes it.
Boy,
Drulak on the receiving end. And that's going to give them very close to a first down. 11-yard pickup. It's going to be a yard short. It'll be 3rd and 1.
That is so tough to defense. The quarterback to the left middle of your screen comes down the line of scrimmage, playing run all the way, then pops up and throws the little short pass to Williams. That is so tough for the linebacker and defensive end to go ahead and play pass defense. Impossible.
Zabrowski, we understand, has a pinched nerve in his back. He'll be back, or neck, we should say, the backup linebacker for Maryland. Coley, 88, the tight end in motion. Tracy Johnson, the fullback, and on the 3rd and 1, he's got the first down.
Big Jim's rig, the top of your screen, number 99, coming off ball, and a turnout block. Does a good job of turning the people out. Up inside comes number 42, Tracy Johnson, for the first down. He's a good blocker.
Williams just playing with confidence right now, isn't he? He seems to have gotten some of that shaky feeling out of the way early, and now running the team with great precision. First down now at the 38-yard line of Maryland. Time he gives to Lancaster. They alternate the fullbacks. Lancaster across the 35 to the 33-yard line.
The interesting thing about that, they handed the ball off to the fullback, and in the option, you go ahead and keep going down the line of scrimmage with the quarterback. Now watch the quarterback in the middle screen. He fakes to the fullback, he's handed off, and he keeps right on going. See, pretty quick, he's going to come out there with the football.
They really have you on your heels. You know, Lancaster is the barber of the football team. You like to have a haircut like that, Dick?
I'm getting old enough to look that way.
Here is Flowers trying to cut up the field and falling down at the 35. They call that the Lancaster design. He cut the offensive lineman's hair this year. I'd hate to see that, but he's in charge of that department.
Well, he came out of a military school, Riverside Military Academy, and he's used to that crew cut, you know, that like we used to wear when we were kids at the college level, you know, back 40 years ago.
Yeah, you don't say how long, okay? It's the 35 now, 3rd down, 7. Williams in little trouble. Got to get out of there, though. Very good job of just getting back up the field. Gets to the 31. Zabrowski's back into the game, and he made the tackle.
That's when it's the advantage. If you're running a bear offense, you appreciate having the quarterback that can run, because he goes back with every intent to throw, but he has that great maneuverability to make people rush and get the positive gain.
So it's 4th down and 3. And we're going to have a field goal attempt coming up. This will be a 48-yarder. Treadwell will come in. 7 of 12 this year. His longest is 49. So this will be a yard short of his best effort this season.
He's 1 for 4 from this distance.
Gonna have to hurry. He didn't get there. A 48-yard attempt. And they've talked, Dick, a lot about the swirling wind here and trying to kick into that open end of this oval.
Right now, it doesn't appear by looking at the flags that the wind really is that much of a factor, but I have seen it here in pro football games that the ball be pushed back.
We're still even at 7.
Beer in recyclable glass bottles keeps its cool for a long, long time. And pure glass protects the taste of your beer. Enjoy it cold and true, knowing that the good things that come in glass come just as their maker intended. Brought to you by the people who make glass containers naturally.
It's one thing to say you fight friction. It's another thing to prove it. Kendall Motor Oil did. First, ordinary piston rings were plated with pure gold. Then, a prestigious independent laboratory ran them under stop-and-go driving conditions for 5,000 miles. The results? Look, Kendall protected the soft gold. A remarkable test only Kendall has taken. Now, doesn't that tell you something? Kendall Motor Oil, for protection worth its weight in gold.
Baltimore Memorial Stadium, Clemson against Maryland. We have 6 minutes, 27 seconds left to go before halftime. It was Maryland scoring first on a 1-yard touchdown run, and then coming back was Clemson, with Williams sneaking it in to tie it up 7-7. The coachless game. Bobby Ross and Danny Ford are up in the press box. As we come back, Maryland has the football, first down at their own 31-yard line. I'm Gary Bender along with Dick Vermeil as we see Vernon Joins, number 80, go in motion. Pinning to Schreiber, the fullback. Check that. Tommy Neal, the tailback. And Tommy Neal out to the 34-yard line. Neal has the touchdown thus far for Maryland. Penn State leading the Fighting Irish in South Bend.
They take Tommy Neal and work him as a fullback as well as a tailback. On the practice field the other day, he played both positions.
He and Blunt, both seniors, have been very productive for Maryland. The problem's been they've been hurt so much. Second down, 8 yards to go. Sean Sullivan, 89's the man in motion. Pinning with a lot of time on target. The catch is made by Milling. And Milling, as the penalty flag goes down, is dropped at the 45-yard line. Milling has been a very big surprise for this football team. Ziz Abdur-Rauf, their outstanding wide receiver, tore an Achilles tendon. They had to go to Milling, and Milling has delivered. And now we have some yardage tacked on, tackling by face mask.
That was really a well-timed little curl pattern. Milling went right down there, stopped in the zone, and Henning just fired it right on time.
5-yard penalty.
Again, Dick, you get back to the fact Milling weighs 156 pounds. You'd say, how can he play major college football? But he does.
He does a good job. You see him right to the left center of your screen. There's the face mask. Reached out and grabbed there by number 47. Didn't do it on purpose. That was Dwayne Walker, the linebacker.
First down at the midfield stripe. Henning play action fake. Overthrows. Vernon Joins, number 80. Matt Riggs, 34, defending on the play.
They rolled up on him, meaning they doubled him short and long that time, and there was good contact made by Delton Hall, who knocked him off stride. Knocked the wide receiver, Vernon Joins, off stride. Boy, that really fouls up the quarterback because he has his rhythm. He knows he's going to let it go approximately, yards downfield, and then that receiver doesn't get there because someone gave him a shot, which you can do in college football.
Henning now 5 of 15 for 86 yards. But I tell you, Henning's got those great bloodlines, doesn't he? They're growing up in a coach's family. Something special about that. What poise he plays. 2nd and 10. And this time it's Bonato to the near side, makes the catch. Inside the 40, he may have a first down. We'll have to wait and see.
Here's another walk-on. See how productive walk-ons can be? Straight drop back pass. Works right back there. Now set. He pauses nicely, gets his feet under him, throws the ball right out to the right side of your screen, right in the middle. Bonato makes the play. That's his 12th reception on the year.
Bonato's not all that big either. Look at that. 5'10", 165.
Biology major. Must be a pretty smart guy. I remember taking biology. It was, my freshman year. Oh, what a struggle.
You took it your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year?
No, I got through it, but I'll tell you, Dr. Gantner really helped me.
Little tutoring going on.
He liked dumb quarterbacks, I think.
Next Saturday here on CBS, we'll have a doubleheader of college football, starting with that Big Ten matchup of the year. The Wolverines of Michigan taking on the Buckeyes of Ohio State, and for the right to go to the Rose Bowl and meet Arizona State. And speaking of Arizona State, they will meet Arizona in Tucson, and that is quite a battle in the state of Arizona. Next Saturday here on CBS. First down was made on that catch by Bonato, just inside the 40 of Clemson. Tommy Neal. Neal for 6 yards. As he is able to get inside the 35, there's Lancaster in his, I guess, in style hairdo. I would question that a little bit. There's another penalty flag. We have clipping now against Maryland.
I wonder if he charges the guys for those fancy haircuts.
I don't know. I think you're probably afraid to tell him not to do it. Have a man shaken up now for Maryland. That is the fullback Schreiber. Well, these two teams have dominated the ACC the last 5 years. Maryland, the defending champions, the last 3, and Clemson in 82, 81.
I tell you, it's tough to repeat in a conference this tough, as successfully as
Pushing
Maryland.
in the back. First down.
So the clip now is going to bring it back to the 49-yard line. Schreiber looking him over. Senior out of Hollywood, Maryland.
His brother played here at the University of Maryland as well. There's bloodlines again.
Yep. He's played in the shadow 3 years of Rick Badonic. Remember the fullback now with the Redskins? Really didn't get a chance to play all that much, but this in his senior year has been his most productive one.
Well, if he's going to be in the National Football League, he's got the right major. A financial major, you know, then he's going to be able to control his money and make good decisions.
All those players now come with their briefcase to the locker room, don't they?
It's an unbelievable atmosphere nowadays. I mean, they come in there with their agents and their lawyers. And
Blunt is coming to the game now. Both Blunt and Neal will be running out of the fullback spot. He has that convertibility. First down, 21. Sullivan in motion. Pressure, Michael Dean Perry, and he's got him. Michael Dean Perry with yet another sack. His 7th of the year.
I think Michael Perry, number 91, came from the left side of the defense this time. Here he is. He's coming from a linebacker position. He goes right over top. Perry played linebacker that time, right over the top of Dave Amon, number 77, the offensive right guard.
I'll tell you what, this guy isn't on the coattails of the refrigerator. He's a good football player in his own.
He's a dominating player, and he loves to play everybody's position. In fact, he could use a little more discipline from what the coaches say.
Ross now brings up 2nd and 29 for the Terrapins. 7-7 our score, inside 4 minutes to go in the first half. That ball may have been deflected. Donato on the near side, the intended receiver. Well, John Dockery's down on the sideline. Let's join him.
Thank you, Gary. Remember when we talked to Danny Ford yesterday, he talked about the safety position and how he cringed with Lott suspended for the game, Johnson who quit. Well, if you look closely now, you'll see that Riggs is in the game, number 34, because Randy Smith is out along the sideline. I just asked him if he was injured. He's not, so they must not be satisfied with his play. That's a weak spot on the defense of Clemson. Now back up to you.
All right, John, there is Matt Riggs, the guy you're talking about, a sophomore. Here we go on a 3rd and 29, and Henning in difficulty. Going to scramble out to the 45, and he's going to be dropped at the 47, where it'll bring up a 4th down.
You know, young Dan has spent a lot of time in the training camps in Atlanta, but what he hasn't learned to do yet is take the old pro football quarterback position, you know, hook slide in underneath that contact.
That will come, right?
Yeah, that'll come.
So, coming in will be Darrell Wright to punt the football. Wolford goes back. Wolford's made a couple of bad decisions on fielding punts. This time back inside the 15, bobbles it, comes up now to the 20, and he'll make it to the 21. Wolford, the sophomore, after a 40-yard punt, has returned it 8 yards. Clemson will have the football. 3:12 left to go in the first half.
Is this Howard Johnson?
Yes, sir. There's been a lot of changes. You might say we're turning the place upside down.
You know, a lot is changing at Howard Johnson. New rooms, new furnishings, and new attention to service. It's different. I like it.
1 second. I'm just straightening up.
No matter how you look at it,
This is Howard Johnson.
we're turning Howard Johnson upside down.
Toyota, looking out for you with a powerful new Toyota 4Runner. 4-wheel drive, room for 5, and an unlimited capacity for excitement. Looking out for number 1. Looking out for you has made the Toyota 4Runner number 1 in owner satisfaction. Who could ask for anything more?
Experience, knowledge, trust. For over 10 years, the undisputed leader. The NFL today on CBS Sports.
The time, January 1st, 1982, Clemson versus Nebraska. It was the Orange Bowl. Clemson quarterback Homer Jordan throws at Perry Tuttle for a 13-yard touchdown to give the Tigers a 19-7 lead over Nebraska in the third quarter. Some excellent defense here by Clemson, nailing Nebraska's Roger Craig and forcing a fumble. And then on the last play of the game, a desperation pass is batted down by the Tigers. And Clemson begins to celebrate a 1981 National Football Championship. Danny Ford becoming the youngest ever at the age of 33 to win a national championship as he's lifted onto the shoulders of his football team. And there he is, a fond memory for this guy who right now is deadlocked with Maryland.
I'll tell you, he's a good football coach, which everybody knows. That might sound like a cliche, but he thinks his best football teams are the next two in front of him.
You know, he's kind of sneaky smart.
Oh, yeah.
Something you said. You know, he gives you that down home, hey, you're going to take advantage of me, but he's smart. First down now. Williams delivering the pass to Riggs, the tight end, and Riggs will make it across the 30-yard line to the 31. You see the time remaining in the first half. Chad Sidner, a sophomore, over to make the stop for Maryland.
Focus your attention to the left side of the screen. The quarterback comes off a play-action fake, hits Jim Riggs right out there in the flat. Now this running back, number 19, Chad Sidner, has to tackle a 6'5", 250 tight end.
Says, don't get him over my area again.
No.
Sidner's a good football player. His brother played at Penn State. He's had a lot of shin problems, and if he could stay healthy, they feel he has a fine future ahead of him.
The Sidner's probably saying, why are you changing the game plan now that I'm in the ballgame and throwing to that big tight end?
Okay, that is going to be a first down. Tomorrow on CBS Sports, the action starts with the NFL Today at 12:30 Eastern. The Joe Morris from the Giants take on Tommy Kramer and the Vikings, plus other regional action. Some of you will see a late game with Dallas traveling to San Diego to take on the Chargers. Be sure now to check your local listings. First down now at the 31-yard line. On the option is Williams. Rodney Williams for maybe 2. It'll bring up a second down and 8. Well, we looked at Danny Ford a moment ago. Here's the other end, the counterpart, Bobby Ross.
I tell you, Ross has had a lot of problems over, with the Len Bias situation, and it's been a distraction to his football team. And one of the keys in preparing a football team is controlling the concentration once those kids get on the field, and there's been almost too many distractions this year for his players.
That's probably an understatement. It just never goes away.
No, it doesn't.
Still in the papers here. Second down, 8 yards to go. The blitz coming. Fawcett. Williams puts it up. That's up on the far sideline, and it's incomplete. Nice effort by Rulak. Keita Covington, number 1, was over there. Covington looks like he may have hurt his back. But what really messed that up, Dick, was Fawcett storming through, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 7.
Number 11, Chuck Fawcett, is a big fella. He put the pressure, forced the high throw. Now he's getting up, Rulak 15, getting up as high as he can, but you can see he's clearly out of bounds, and Keita Covington was right there with him, and probably glad he didn't have to take his 5-foot frame and get that high.
He's having some back trouble out there. He's still doing some stretching. Bobby Ross said he's the kind of guy you want to go to war with, Keita Covington. All ACC a year ago. 3rd down and 8. Too tall this time, and trying to stretch, come up with it, is Jim Riggs, and it'll bring up a 4th down. Should there be an annual game to decide the national championship in college football? That's the question we've been asking throughout our telecast today on CBS. Be sure now to cast your votes. You can do it by simply dialing the number listed next to the category of your choice. The charge of 50 cents per call, and we'll see how the fans are voting at our halftime. Mike Anderson will go back to receive this punt from Spires. 1:58 left in the first half. This is very high. Fair catch called for and made by Mike Anderson.
4-2 hang time, which is not really a great hang time, but it was high and short, and it's really tough to return that kind of punt.
It was short, Dick. 33 yards on the punt. Maryland has the football at the 33 with 1:50 left in the first half.
You'll see. Only nerds eat Kellogg's cornflakes. Tony Danza eats them. He does? Elton John, Kenny Loggins, Rob Lowe eat cornflakes.
It may surprise you who eats cornflakes, but not why. Great taste and solid nutrition. Make them a real breakfast hit.
Wow, David Loomis eats them too. Who's he? That hunk in my biology class.
How about the Kellogg's Corn Flakes now?
You might get caught out in the middle of nowhere with a dead battery, but I won't. This is a Delco maintenance-free battery, and when this green eye is showing, it means I've got all the starting power I need, up to 770 cranking amps. If you think your battery's fading fast, I'd start thinking Delco.
Now through January 3rd, get a $5 rebate on most Delco batteries. See a participating AC Delco retailer for details.
Never wait for trouble.
Dan Henning Jr., his dad, of course, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, has followed his son's career. Here's some of his thoughts about his young man.
I can remember during the 1982 season when we had the strike year, I got to see every one of his high school games, and I went on trips with him when he was being recruited. And the depression when things don't go well for your son or your daughter, or the joy when they do, there is no comparison to anything that you've done yourself.
You were mentioning, Dick, he remembers Dan Jr. when his dad wasn't the head coach. He was battling just to get the jobs and how you work your way up the ladder.
You know, Dan Henning Sr.'s only been an NFL head coach for the last 3 years of this guy's life. You know, really, for a long time, he's just a football coach struggling and a great, working up.
That's right. He's grown up with it. Up the ladder. First down now from the 33. Henning. Pass completed to Blunt. Blunt knocked down instantaneously at the 36-yard line.
Blunt did an awfully nice job of hanging on to that football. It could have, good tackle, good contact made right there. He just held on to it.
Going to set it up now at the 37-yard line with 1:44. Sean Sullivan now will bring the play in from the near sideline.
With Henning also, we're talking about his poise and his touch on the ball. He's a pre-med student, so it's a pretty darn bright kid, too.
Doesn't hurt, does it?
No.
On a 2nd down and 6. Trying to set up the screen. A flag on the play. Completion to Blunt. Blunt will get out of bounds, stop the clock at the 38-yard line. That time Henning had him coming after him, but something just didn't develop well on that play. Michael Dean Perry was the guy that was in the midst of everything. Coming up at halftime, the Prudential College Football Report. Jim Nance will have an update on the viewer poll as well as a look at some of the conference races as we go down to the end here. At stake today, the ACC title outright for Clemson. They've already clinched a tie, and Maryland, of course, would like to win, keep their hopes alive for a winning season as they would close out against Virginia. Offside.
Second down.
I think it was Perry who was back there that got offside on that play.
Well, they're playing Perry at defensive end and also strong side linebacker. So he's playing two positions today. Got to keep my eyes open, see where he's going.
You know, this guy weighs, what, 40 pounds less than his brother?
He's only 270. He's just a midget.
There's your time left now in the first half. 2nd down, a yard to go after the penalty. Hitting with excellent protection, and over the middle it goes. The completion goes to Bonato. John Bonato makes the catch. They have a first down now. They stop the clock to move the chains. The ball just short of the 35 with 1:28. That 22-yarder really gives them a chance now to at least get a field goal out of this.
We were talking about the strength of his arm, maybe not being the strongest arm, but I tell you, he fired that post pattern right in there.
That was a slingshot throw. Back to throw again is Henning. And the ball is dropped. That was Bonato with the defense by Wolford, and Bonato just could not hang on. He's looking at one glove. Why would he wear one glove and not the other?
Maybe he lost it on the sideline last series, but I'll tell you, you have to give Donnell Wolford a lot of credit, Gary, on that one. He really charged on that ball. I think he actually deflected it.
I don't understand. I've heard of 2 gloves or none. The one? We're going to have to talk to him after this game. 2nd down 10. Stop the clock with 1:18.
Maybe he shared it with a teammate who didn't have any.
That's right. Times are tough, huh? Here's Henning back again. Again, the protection is excellent. This time it's Sean Sullivan. There's a penalty flag, however, as Sullivan grounded close to the 30-yard line. Helmet coming off. I think this is going to come back, though.
I think it's a holding penalty.
There's Sullivan, the senior. You got it. Holding. Boy, that changes. You were inside the 30. Now you back it up.
At this time, as a head coach, you might really appreciate being up in the press box.
It's warmer, huh?
No, I mean, you'd be so mad at somebody down there.
I know it.
A lot of people can't understand.
Offensive team holding, second down.
They can't understand how coaches can get so upset in games, yet they go home and get just as mad at their own kids. But it's not on television, you know.
It's a good thing, huh? You never got mad at your kids, Dick. I know better than that.
My kids used to say I was born mad.
Anyway, what's going to happen now is we're going to have a timeout. Maryland has 2 left and 1:09 left in this first half. The penalties in this game have really started them out. Clemson with 5 for 44, Maryland 7 for 70. Maryland and Clemson from the ACC. Well, we've got a break. Let's visit those 2 institutions.
Clemson University. In the uniquely American tradition of land-grant universities, knowledge belongs to the people, not just to the scholars. Clemson research in emerging technologies is bringing knowledge of robotics and biological containment of agricultural pests into the real world. Clemson balances its research mission with public service to individuals and to communities. At Clemson, the concept and the tradition are a dynamic reality every day. University of Maryland, College Park, for the education of your life.
Well, from College Park to Baltimore, and that's where we are right now. The coach of the Terrapins, Bobby Ross. Bobby, 3 straight ACC championships, and this man who last captured the ACC title in '82 looks like he's upset about something right now. 2nd and 20 after that last penalty. Maryland with 2 timeouts left. Henning scrambling around. And he's just going to throw this one away. Want the intended receiver down there. And Michael Dean Perry was over. Now there's another penalty flag. Perry is everywhere right now. Dick, I just can't get over how good a football player he is. Sometimes you have a brother that's so well noted, and then your other guy gets some publicity as kind of a spin-off, but he's worthy of it. They're going to call intentional grounding on this, aren't they?
I think that's a lousy call, to be honest with you.
I think this guy agrees with you. He can't believe it. Bobby, he's got, I don't understand this at all.
That guy ought to donate his check to charity.
Do you have a charity in mind?
I don't know, yeah. Mary Campbell Center in Delaware. I work for those people.
All right.
Those people. I can't understand that at all. Here the quarterback comes out in a pressure situation, being chased. Now he's trying to throw the ball down the sideline on the go pattern, and in the movement going to his left, he actually throws the ball wider to the left than he wanted to. Just his movement created that thing. That's a lousy call. I agree with you, fans.
3rd and 23. You're not intense up here, Coach. Here is Henning now over the middle. Joins can't hang on. Boy, they've lost a golden opportunity. They were getting close to field goal range, and all of a sudden, with the penalties, they lose control of the football. They're going to have to get rid of it. That could come back, be a very, very important development in this football game.
I wonder where a quarterback, a young kid like him, just walks up pretty quick and grabs one of those receivers by the face mask. Say, listen, boy, we're trying to win this game. You got to do your part. I can only get it there so many times.
Wolford back to receive this kick. Not very well hit at all by Darrell Wright. And it's going to go out at just about the 25-yard line. Bobby Ross is with John Dockery. Let's join him.
Bobby, I know you're in a rush to get down to talk to your team at the half, but what's it like in the booth?
Well, it's fine. It's a little nerve-wracking, and I'd rather be on the sideline, but that's the least of my worries right now.
The toughest part of being up here?
Well, no, it's really just we got to play a little bit better. We're not catching the ball. We've had 6 drop passes and 2 holding penalties and a clip, and that's what's hurting us right now. We got to get that corrected.
Any problems with communication to the field?
Not at all. It's worked out well.
What will you say to your team at the half?
Just what I said to you. We got to stop stopping ourselves, and we got to play a little better pass defense.
Well, good, Coach. I know you're on the run. Thank you. Good luck. All right, now back to you, Gary.
I don't think he's happy about that intentional grounding call either, Coach.
Oh, I wouldn't be either.
First down 10. Here is Flagler. You see the time remaining in the first half. Terrence Flagler gets across the 25-yard line.
The 8-man front, those 8 people lined up on the line of scrimmage playing defense, really giving Clemson's defense a problem. They're having a hard time getting the offense going, either the option or the tailback series.
Timeout called. Both teams now with 2 timeouts left in this first half. Well, it's interesting. The Tigers came out throwing the ball probably for that very reason. They thought they couldn't run against that wide tackle 6.
I think maybe right now Coach Ford feels this is his B team playing.
Oh, yeah, he talked about that. That's right.
My team has been inconsistent. My A team, boy, when they're my really playing hard, that's my A team. And then the same group a week later doesn't play anywhere close. That's my B team. And he wasn't sure which one was going to play today.
Well, they've had a year that's at 7-2, but it's been more of a struggle than the record would indicate. You know, they started out this year playing, pretty well. Then they had the diving type of the season, the middle of the season, and now they've rebounded to win 2 back-to-back games to get to 7-2 and a chance to win the ACC title.
What Coach Ford says, I think it is so true. They're a young football team, and they don't have the outstanding leader yet. He hasn't jumped up and taken charge from a player standpoint. And what people sometimes have a hard time realizing, when you take all the leaders out of high school and put them on the same campus, it's harder to find who the obvious leader is.
So now with 32 seconds left in the first half, 2nd down 8. Rodney Williams giving up. To Flagler, nice spinning move, and Flagler trying to get a first down, comes out to the 35-yard line. Well, they had a big hole up the middle that time. It will be a first down for the Tigers.
That's what they call their sprint draw. It's a slow hitting play, and they run a pass off it. It takes tailback takes a big roll move to the line of scrimmage, and the offensive linemen stretch the defense as much as they can, Gary. Then they hand it off late, and he finds that opening. That time there was. It's a combination of a direct running play and a draw play. You follow me?
I understand it, and I tell you another thing is you brought out to me is they're just going to let the time expire. It's hard to evaluate sometimes. A pure running back is how effective they be in the NFL.
I know, because many times they have outstanding stats, but they've made all their yards on the pitch outside in phase of the option, which really isn't contested.
7-7 at halftime. At halftime, we'll be visiting with the Chancellor of the University of Maryland, John Slaughter. Dr. John Slaughter. We'll be right back after this message and a word from your local station.
You're always reaching higher.
Look over there. Sorry?
Yeah, striving for your best. Yeah. Ain't nothing's gonna stop you. Ready for the test.
We've got the bridge.
One bridge coming up.
Light Fighters, the new light infantry. No matter where you are, in the jungle, the Arctic, the desert, or the mountains, you run out of day before you run out of challenge.
You know, all this talk about building your confidence might sound like a lot of hype. Let me tell you, hype doesn't get you to the top of this rock.
Be all that you can be.
Look out. What? The elevator's here.
All that you can be, find your future in the Army.
This is CBS.
Hey, some gizmo in your car breaks and your dealer fixes it. 2 years later, the same gizmo breaks again. The dealer says, no problem, we'll fix it for free. Free? Think you're in the Twilight Zone? No. It's your Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealer's lifetime service guarantee. You never pay for the same repair twice. Think other car dealers would do that? Now you're on Fantasy Island.
Ford and Lincoln Mercury. Quality cars, quality care. Come test drive one today.
Accidents can happen anytime, so you should be able to get sound legal advice anytime. That's why Science and Kirk now offer an injury information hotline 7 days and nights a week to assist you with such problems as towing, property and rental damages, medical expenses, injury compensation, and lost wages. Science and Kirk understand the importance of offering quick, convenient, and free initial legal consultations. Call the Injury Information Hotline anytime, because if you have a phone, you have a lawyer.
You could fly all over Maryland for a good deal on a car, but you won't get a better deal on a car or truck than from Tate Dodge or Tate Chrysler Plymouth in Glen Burnie. Tate has over 1,000 cars and trucks in stock and priced to go.
The reason for our success is simple. We sell more cars so we can sell each for less profit. At Tate, we make buying a car or truck easy.
Nobody has what Tate has, no sir. Nobody has what Tate has.
Who's flying this plane? Monday at 11 on News 11.
CBS Sports presents the Prudential College Football Report. Sponsored by The Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and other financial services. The Prudential, the rock. It's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
All right, welcome back to the Prudential College Football Report. You have to wonder if the two coaches are exchanging notes right now up in the press boxes. That game is tied 7-7 at halftime. Right now, a quick update of our viewer vote. 93% calling in are in favor of a national championship game or some sort of playoff system. 7% would like to maintain the present system where the national champions decided by the polls and the bowls remain the way they are. Here again is how you can vote. If you're in favor of a title game, call 1-900-220-2111. If you want things as they currently stand, call 1-900-220-2122. Each call is 50 cents. Let's move now to the scoreboard in college football. First of all, tonight, Tulsa, a team that is 7-3 on the year with a win over Oklahoma State as well, will take on #1 Miami. The big shocker today, Minnesota ending the Michigan Wolverines' hopes for a national championship. With 2.5 minutes to go, Gerald White running across and a controversial touchdown, but he did get in, the official said. Bo Schembechler went for only one, feeling his defense could hold the Gophers, but Minnesota marched right back downfield. Chip Lohmiller hit the chip shot on the game's final play, and Minnesota beats Michigan for the first time since 1977. And by the way, that year, the Wolverines were ranked #1, so they have ended a couple of national championship hopes for Michigan. Third-ranked Penn State and Notre Dame have just gone to the third quarter. Of course, this game very important as far as the bowl outlook is, and Penn State leading right now as Notre Dame's had troubles with turnovers and penalties. Fourth-ranked Oklahoma picking up their 5th shutout of the year today. The victim, Colorado. Patrick Collins getting the first touchdown for the Sooners from 17 yards out. He was pelted by oranges in the end zone. Of course, Barry Switzer and his team in there for a very important game today. Colorado could have won this game, and if they would have won it and next week beaten Kansas State, they would have been looking at Orange Bowl. Brian Bosworth with a sack there. Oh, there was one real down note. A Colorado cheerleader was hit in the head by a bottle and was taken to the hospital suffering a concussion. But Oklahoma wins it 28-0. 5th shutout of the year. We'll hear more from Brian Bosworth here at the half. Tonight, Arizona State going to the Rose Bowl. They'll take on Wichita State at home. Nebraska 70-0 over Kansas. This looks like Oklahoma's score from a week ago. Texas A&M and Arkansas tied up in the third quarter. Tonight, Georgia will be at Auburn. Ohio State whips Wisconsin. Vince Workman, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns. We'll have more on that game here at the half. UCLA and Washington just started the third quarter, tied at 7. In the South, Temple and Alabama, Bobby Humphrey, 129 yards, 3 touchdowns for the Tide as they go to 9-2. Florida State over Southern Mississippi, 49-13. Florida State will go to 6-3-1. In the Midwest, Iowa's quarterback Tom Paholski threw for 3 scores, 259 yards in all. The Hawkeyes bounced back from that loss a week ago to Illinois. Michigan State's bowl hopes dealt a severe blow as Northwestern ended their Big Ten losing streak at 12 with the upset there. Louisville and West Virginia, Chris Pacone, 3 touchdown runs for the Mountaineers. They lead it in the fourth quarter. In the Southwest, Baylor has hopes of going to the Bluebonnet Bowl. They lead Rice in the fourth quarter. SMU and Texas Tech, Mustangs winning by 6. That is midway through the fourth period. In the West, Oregon over Washington State, 13-3. That game has gone to halftime. And in the big shocker, Oregon State over BYU in Provo. Sophomore quarterback Eric Wilhelm for the Beavers broke Oregon State 1962 Heisman Trophy winner Terry Baker's record for career passing yardage in that win for Oregon State. Stay with us for more scores and highlights as the Prudential College Football Report continues here on CBS with results from around the country.
Choosing a life insurance policy can make anyone feel helpless. You're at the mercy of strangers. Your hands are tied. You feel pressured. But help is never too far away. With Prudential, your agent has the time to talk to you, listen to you, and and work with you until you have a piece of the rock you're comfortable with. No wonder more people choose Prudential for life insurance than any other company. You'll feel right by the rock. Prudential Life Insurance.
An investment firm is only as impressive as it is responsive.
Let's go.
So when interest rates fell, we looked for new ways for our clients to make money and developed unique opportunities like the Prudential Real Estate Investment Trust, a first of its kind in a way to take advantage of changing markets. While others may imitate it, we're busy surpassing it. If anyone can show you bold new thinking in the business of making money, let's close it. It's Prudential Bates, rock solid, market-wise.
Finals today from college football. Boston College won its 6th in a row. Troy Stratford ran for 184 yards and went over the 1,000-yard mark on the season. Next week, the Eagles will go against Holy Cross, a team that is now 10-0 on the year. Today, Gordy Lockbaum, 2 touchdowns rushing. He caught 5 passes for 80 yards, returned 2 kickoffs for 82 more. Pittsburgh over Rutgers. Joe Filitsky had to fill in for the injured John Conjimmy. He completed 20 passes for 259 yards and a touchdown. Penn over Harvard. The Quakers have beaten the Crimson for the 3rd time in this decade. The last time that happened was back in the 1890s. Cornell over Columbia. The Lions have now lost 30 ball games in a row. So the Ivy League standings look like this. Penn and Cornell are tied. Next week they will play at Cornell for the Ivy League crown. In the South, Tennessee topped Mississippi. For the Rebels, they are now out of the SEC race to the Sugar Bowl. Here's one of the key touchdowns for the Volunteers. Jeff Francis to Joey Clinkscales, 38 yards. In Tennessee, it's been a disappointing season, but they salvaged some pride today with that victory. In the SEC, the standings look like this. Alabama and LSU tied. Auburn is tied in the loss column at the moment. Elsewhere, Florida, a team that was eliminated early in the SEC race because they had that slow start. Today, Kentucky beat them, and that has to be considered an upset. The Wildcats, time of possession, 41 minutes to the Gators, only 19. Kerwin Bell played, completed 7 out of 24. Virginia Tech over Vanderbilt. Coach Bill Dooley becomes the winningest coach in Tech history. It's the last game for him at Tech. He will leave after this season, but the Hokies likely will go to the Peach Bowl in the postseason. North Carolina over Virginia. Now, the 2 coaches in this game were on the sidelines, but they weren't in great shape. Dick Crum was on crutches, George Welsh in a wheelchair. But, hey, it's at least they were coaching, unlike the guys at Maryland and Clemson. But here's the real story today. Derek Fenner going 73 yards here. He had 39 carries for 328 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that is a new ACC record for Fenner. He is only a sophomore, so we'll be hearing a lot more from him the next 2 years. North Carolina State over Duke, and Eric Kramer, coming back from that ankle injury, today became the Wolfpack's all-time leading passer. South Carolina has a hotshot freshman quarterback named Todd Ellis. Played only 1 half today, threw for 2 touchdowns. He set a new freshman record for touchdown passes in a season with 19, previously held by Purdue's Mark Herman. In the Midwest, Illinois surprising for the 2nd straight week. Last week it was Iowa, this week Indiana. In the Southwest, Texas tops TCU for the 19th straight time. The Longhorns are now 5-4. The Southwest Conference standings. Look at this log jam right now behind Texas A&M, Arkansas, Baylor, and Texas Tech, as well as Texas and SMU, all with 2 losses. Now, if A&M stumbles today against Arkansas, this race will open up. But should the Aggies win, it looks like they are headed to the Cotton Bowl. And when we come back, we'll update some more important conference races and take another tally of our viewer votes. You're watching the Prudential College Football Report here on CBS, where the scores continue from around the country.
Find the holes in your homeowner's insurance before they find you.
Sorry to barge in.
Have a Prudential representative give you a fast, free Pru review of your coverage.
Are we covered?
If you had a Pru review, you'd know.
Get a Pru review from the Prudential and get a piece of the rock.
Don't look like Bermuda to me.
Powerful new financial help is coming. The Rock, the Prudential, is now more than insurance. It's mutual funds, home mortgages, IRAs,
stocks and bonds, new products, and new ideas. It's rock-solid financial help for us all. The Rock, the Prudential. It's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
The Irish have put a touchdown on the board. Tim Brown, 14-yard touchdown reception, and Notre Dame now leading Penn State 13-10 third quarter. Again, the big surprise today, Minnesota over Michigan, handing the Wolverines their first loss of the year. Ohio State over Wisconsin. So the Big Ten standings are like this: Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State in front, but next week they will play, and even though Michigan lost today, the winner will go to the Rose Bowl. Now let's take a closer look at how the Ohio State victory unfolded in Madison. Brent Musburger called the action and filed this report.
Jim, for Ohio State, it was a working man's day, if you will. Vince Workman had his career best. He rushed for 172 yards. Take a look at this sophomore in action. How at the line of scrimmage, when he'd be hit, he'd spin away. And that just one of his fine rushes for the Buckeyes this afternoon. He also scored 2 touchdowns. Now, starting quarterback Jimmy Carsados was injured, a banged-up left shoulder, so the punter and backup quarterback Tom Tupa came in, and suddenly he discovered Chris Carter. And when the score was 17-10, perhaps the biggest moment of the game came on this 3rd and 11 sequence. And it was the first catch of the day by Carter, who wound up in the end zone, and the Buckeyes were never headed after that. Now, next week, it's Ohio State and Michigan. And after the game, our Pat O'Brien asked Buckeye coach Earl Bruce, what about next week's confrontation?
If every game were like the Michigan game, it'd be something to coach because everyone listens, and it's a great week of preparation for a great football game. Outstanding football game.
I don't know if you heard the score, but Minnesota's beating Michigan right now.
That's surprising. Michigan will come back.
But they did not come back. However, it does not matter. Whoever wins next Saturday's meeting between Ohio State and Michigan will still wind up in the Rose Bowl. Back to New York and Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, Brent. In the last 5 games, Oklahoma has outscored their opponents 226-3. And with their victory today, here's a look now at the Big 8 standings. Oklahoma in front. Nebraska today handing Kansas their worst loss in school history. Oklahoma and Nebraska will play next week, the winner going to the Orange Bowl. And as to a possible Orange Bowl showdown between Oklahoma and #1 Miami, the Sooners' irrepressible Brian Bosworth left no doubt about his feelings.
They can't dodge the bullet all year long. If they're satisfied with the win in first of the season, you know, that's fine. Go take your game somewhere to other bowl. But, I mean, if you want to show down for #1, come with us.
All right. Now updating our viewer vote so far, and should there be a national championship playoff, 37,000 have responded. 93% say yes, 7% say no. It looks like it's time for playoff action in college football. Second half is coming up next. Clemson and Maryland. We'll see you here after the game, time permitting, with more of the Prudential College Football Reports.
The Prudential College Football Report has been sponsored by The Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and other financial services. The Prudential, The Rock. It's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
7-7 our halftime score here at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. As you look at some of the key statistics, you can see that Maryland getting the better of it in total yardage. And if they had not dropped 6 passes in that first half, you wonder what the total would have been. The Terrapins 184 yards to the Tigers 149. A lot of penalties in this game. Look at this. Maryland 8 for 81. The Tigers 5 for 42. Terrence Flagler, who's been playing so well all year long with 2 200-yard games, 5 100-yard games for the year, has been shut down in this first half. He has a total of 17 yards. As you can see, he's been averaging almost 120 a game and almost 7 per carry. So the Maryland defense has really taken Flagler out of the game in that first half of play. So Clemson trying to win the championship outright. All deadlocked with the Terrapins at the halfway point. Well, if you followed athletics at all, you're very aware of back in June, the untimely death of Len Bias, the outstanding basketball player at the University of Maryland. And with us is the Chancellor of Maryland, Dr. John Slaughter. And I would imagine it's been a difficult year in a lot of ways, but the death of Doc Bias, what has that prompted the school to do?
Well, Gary, it's caused us to take a very, very deep look at a number of things in our athletic program. And and to put some changes in place that we think are going to help Maryland truly become the kind of a public educational institution we want it to be with respect to athletics and academics.
As I understand, Doctor, you have a 115-page report, about 60 proposals, and you're going to meet with Bobby Ross next week.
Well, we had a task force put together immediately after Leonard's death to look at academic achievement of our student athletes. And they recommended 60 recommendations, as you said, and they're really super. And we're looking very carefully at them, trying to see how we can implement them. There's not a one that conceptually doesn't make sense. We need to figure out how we can put them in place.
Let me ask you this. A man of Lynn Bias's stature, do you think sometimes you have the tendency to overreact? What if it had been a history student or somebody that had that unfortunate death?
Well, unquestionably, a basketball player, a star like Leonard Bias, received national attention. Athletics seems to be so important in the minds of Americans, and that certainly has brought a great deal more publicity than just had it been an ordinary student.
So you're optimistic the direction's going the right way?
I'm very optimistic. We've got an excellent program in Maryland. We've got a fine department. Our football program is showcased here today, and we're going to win this ball game. We're going to be very excited about that. But we're going to come along and be fine.
Thank you, Chancellor.
Happy to be here, Gary. Thank you.
Chancellor John Slaughter. Dr. Slaughter, an outstanding basketball fan in his days when he went to Kansas State. We'll be right back after this message and a word from your local station.
There's a good chance you've got less than 6 inches of fiberglass insulation in your attic, which means you may not be as comfortable as you could be. And you're paying more for your heating bills than you should be. So add an extra layer of Owens Corning pink insulation, because a warmer house makes for a cool cat. Owens Corning, we put your house in the pink.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America.
And you've got what it takes. Put yourself in today's Chevrolet Celebrity Eurosport and listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America. Today's Chevrolet.
Why you bother me, boy? Are you crazy?
I'm a chicken hawk and you're a chicken. Are you coming quietly or do I have to mush you up?
You're going at it all wrong, son. You gotta go to Kentucky Fried Chicken if you want to catch America's favorite chicken. It's a great place to get a great meal. No one makes tender, juicy chicken like the Colonel. It's finger-licking good. Here, son, let me give you a lift.
We do chicken right.
This is CBS.
There is a higher intelligence coming to share a wealth of knowledge and powers. Follow your instincts and welcome them. They are known as Minolta Zoom copiers. They transform complex functions into child's play and have remarkable endurance. Bring higher intelligence to your office with Minolta Zoom copiers, only from the mind of Minolta.
Ritchie Nissan is closing out all remaining 86 Nissans for only $86 over the factory invoice cost. That's all you pay at Ritchie, $86 over the factory invoice. If Ritchie doesn't have the 86 you want, take your choice of an 87 Nissan Sentra or an 87 Nissan pickup for only $130 per month with only $500 down, cash or trade. For the lowest bottom line price anywhere, come to Ritchie Nissan, Ritchie Highway, Glen Burnie.
You're watching Channel 11 WBAL-TV in Baltimore.
CBS Sports presents college football, sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. Michelob Light, super premium taste and less filling beer. And by the people of Rockwell International, where science gets down to business.
Thank you. I'm with Danny Ford. Danny, what's it like in the booth?
Very awful.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell the flow in football games, of course, but, you know, they got the same situation. They probably play a little bit quicker than we are. We look a lot slower than they do from up here right now. We got to get a lot quicker, quit having penalties. really hurt us the first half, and hopefully we can play a little bit better. I don't think we're playing very well right now. Hopefully we can come back second half. We need to, and we're going to try to win the football game.
What'd you say to your team at the half?
Well, not much. Just trying to show them how they got behind, got tied at 7-7. We're lucky. Kicking game helped us a little bit, and the penalties hurt us very much. They had a 94-yard drive that killed us because of one offside penalty. They had a Clemson penalty. We don't know anything about field position right now. We got to do better on field position. We let them out of the hose, and we just got to play a lot better.
Well, Danny, I sense it's an exasperating experience being up here. How would you describe it?
It's hard enough getting up and down the darn stadium, and you got to sit in a little hole in here. There ain't but 6 people in here. We got 12 in here, so we need some room.
Okay, Coach, thank you. Now back to you, Gary. Man's anxious to get back into the game.
I tell you right now, he doesn't like it up here.
I don't blame him.
Sile kicking off for Clemson as we start the second half. This is Mike Anderson, number 31. And he'll bring it out to the 27-yard line. He said it was awful. Probably is as well you can put it.
Danny Ford's contribution to the football game day, to his football team. All week he prepares them, but game day he can transmit a sense of intensity to them. When someone makes a mistake, he gets it corrected, and someone does a super job, he gets them patted on the rear end, and he can control that tempo, but he can't do it from up here.
You said you like to look in their eyes.
You bet you like to look in their eyes. I'll tell you, sometimes it scares you what you see, too.
Some of those place kickers, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right, at the 27-yard line, Maryland with the first offensive series of the second half. 7-7 our score at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Milling in motion. Johnny Neal. Neal was able to get across the 30 to the 33-yard line, and that was a good tackle by Dorian Mariable on Tommy Neal.
Follow the fullback, number 45, to the right side of your screen, blocking right there on number 9. Earl James did a good job and allowed the running back to get outside. Good block by the fullback.
Second down, 4. Maryland dropping 6 passes in that first half, and you could tell Bobby Ross wasn't happy about that in his visit just before halftime. Here is Neal again. Very tough sledding. It's going to bring up the third down for the Terrapins. Michael Dean Perry making the stop once again.
This young man would like to break some of his brother's records, and he has a ways to go, but he's on pace. You know, he has 10 tackles for minus yardage in the year already, 40 tackles, 6 sacks this year, 32 tackles in his career for minus tackles, and he's attacking and charging straight ahead on his brother's records. Really, he's got a shot at him in a year from now.
That's right, he's got another year, the junior. Third down now, 4 yards to go. Oh, movement up front, and the left side of that offensive line looked like Mark Agent, 66, left the mark prematurely. There he is.
He's a little mad at himself. He's an education major.
Out of Baltimore, a redshirt freshman.
High school shot put champion, believe it. A lot of these guys competed in track and wrestling and baseball. 3 and 4 sports per year.
When you're 6'5", 264, I think you could throw the shot a little bit, couldn't you?
Yeah, they're really high on this young man. He's a redshirt freshman, so he has 3 years of eligibility beyond this year.
Look how he ties his jersey up and
Interior
back.
lineman moving. Third down.
Isn't it interesting how they emulate the NFL? They start tying their jerseys and get them tighter so you can't grab them. Third down and 9 now. And wait a minute, not another one. A lot of penalties in the first half, and we start the second half that way. Illegal procedure again.
Too much time. I wonder if Coach Ross, being in the press box, is slowing down the sideline communication on the field. You know, the coach making the call, it being sent in, the guy running in with the play.
Dead ball procedure. Interior lineman moving.
The Colts snuck out of here at night.
Third down.
Headed to Indianapolis. Not very popular here in the Baltimore area. 3rd and 14. That's a 10th penalty against Maryland. Backed up now to the 29-yard line. Henning with time. And overthrown, intended for Bonato. And somebody, the fans in particular, feeling that there was interference on that play. There's Henning pleading his call. Wolford was defending on the play. Let's see if we can pick it up, Dick.
To the left side of your screen, up in the left-hand corner, you'll see number 20, Donnell Wolford. He'll be covering a post pattern run by the wide receiver coming down. Now, the fans are upset because they thought he interfered, but the ball could not be caught in any way, and therefore they could not call pass interference.
I agree with that. There is Wright now on the punt on 4th down. Wolford will call for the fair catch and makes it at the Clemson 43-yard line. 34-yard punt that time by Wright. So the Tigers now get their first opportunity of the second half. 18 minutes or 13 minutes to go in this third quarter.
Manage. To handle or direct with skill. Rockwell International Management stimulates the work of its 120,000 employees, 1 in 6 a scientist or engineer. Their elegant solutions to customer needs make Rockwell a world leader. Rockwell International. Managing high technology for global markets.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America.
When you've got what it takes, put yourself in today's Chevrolet Celebrity Eurosport and listen to your heartbeat.
Heartbeat of America. Hey, Chevrolet.
What's happening on The Wizard?
Kidnapping, robbery, espionage.
And some unusual monkey business has Simon digging for clues to uncover a beautiful spy.
Catch him.
Tonight on CBS.
7-7 our score. There are 9 Bowl representatives here watching this football game, and that reminds us to remind you that here on CBS we'll be having the Sun Bowl, the John Hancock Sun Bowl, Christmas Day, 2:30 Eastern Time. The Gator Bowl, December 27th, 12:30 Eastern. And then concluded on New Year's Day by the Cotton Bowl Classic, 1:30 Eastern. After the punt of 34 yards, operating now from the 43.5 is Clemson. 7-7 our score. This is Kenny Flowers. Check that. That is Tracy Johnson, the fullback, and he goes for 11 yards and a first down. Flowers is in there right now with Flagler, so it's Johnson, Flagler in the backfield. It's interesting to me, Coach, that you can keep 2 superstars like Flagler and Flowers happy.
I don't know if you really can keep them happy. John Wooden once told me, he says, if you have 2 great ones, don't try to keep them both happy. Just make sure one of them is. If you try to keep them both happy, many times neither one is.
Evidently, they've done something right. 11-yard run that time by Johnson, number 42. There's Johnson again. Tracy Johnson to the 41-yard line, so he's gotten back-to-back runs. You know, this Clemson crowd is something, isn't it?
They are. I know the Maryland fans right here are a little bit excited. But, you know, the other day I'm driving down the highway, and there's a flag on this lead car, about a row of 8 cars. And there's a flag, and I'm curious, so I pull up beside it. I think it's some government official. We're over by Washington, D.C. It's a Clemson fan, for crying. He's all dressed in orange in his convoy coming to the ball game.
In a big limousine with a flag flying and the tiger paw on their cheek, right? Second down 5. Johnson again, and all of a sudden, Dick, Clemson has spotted something. That's 3 straight carries now for Tracy Johnson, and they have 2 first downs.
They're establishing that inside fullback run, possibly a good trap. Now, there it is. There's a right guard pulling a trap. He gets the block. Didn't even have to trap him. The hole open, wide open, up inside. Good run by Tracy Johnson.
Those are adjustments you make at the halftime.
Well, I think what he's really did in the halftime is he got after him. He was not happy with their tempo.
This guy,
there's a Clemson
guy.
guy.
Have a full deck. First down now as Johnson, 3 straight carries, has him inside the 30. Here he goes again, 4th straight.
See, that's the guy who was driving that car with the flag on it, the tiger paw flag, you know. I thought it was a government official or something like that. All these cars all lined up.
Well, we're down to 38 degrees. It was 42 degrees at kickoff. I tell you what, he better get the doctor's number because he's going to need it come Monday morning, right?
He must be from Philadelphia.
An old Eagle fan?
He's an old Eagle fan, that guy. Gotta love him.
Oh, man, I tell you. I hope he's got a lot of paint on to keep him warm. Second down 7. Ray Williams, number 45, in motion. This is Flowers, and tries to cut too sharply, and he can't stay on his feet. He goes down. Bob Arnold was there to make sure he didn't go any further. Loss of 2 on the play. Mr. Flowers. Now, Flowers, as we said, has had 11 100-yard days. He is the all-time leading rusher in a season, 1,200 yards. He's the kind of guy that on all the brochures and all the things they sent out said that he would be the Heisman Trophy candidate. Instead, it's been Flagler, so they say he's Mr. Universe. Third down 9. Flowers gets open on this one, stays on his feet. He's going to go. Touchdown, Kenny Flowers.
This is a cutback. Now, you'll note that the tailback in the middle of your screens starts one direction. Now, he cuts back. Big hole open up inside there by the flow of the offensive backfield. Good balance. Now, you don't catch this guy from behind. Coach Ford told us yesterday, that's one thing about this guy. He has the super speed.
He ran through the arms of J.B. Brown on that play. 26-yard touchdown run. Point after attempt by Treadwell. He hit the deck, but he gets it through. Let's look at it again. See the blazing speed of a Kenny Flowers.
And you'll note that he doesn't take off full speed right out of his stance. To the left of your screen, Mr. Flowers, see, little pause, set it up. Now he comes back through a big hole. Gary, you could run through that hole. There he shows his running ability. He breaks the tackle, then he turns it loose, and what speed.
Well, that is Clemson Tiger football. They move at 56 yards, all 6 plays on the ground.
Who says you can't have 100% imported hops and a less filling beer? Old world aging and a less filling beer. Smooth super premium taste and a less filling beer. Michelob Light, the best of both worlds.
Michelob Light, oh yes you can. Have it all.
The right parts. Mr. Goodwrench has the right parts for your GM car. Parts that fit. Parts engineered for your car by people who designed your car. Parts for every make and every model of virtually every GM car and light truck on the road today. Mr. Goodwrench can help you keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts, because no one knows your GM car better. No one.
Look, Da Vinci, you've got great ideas, but I mean, what is this, an egg beater? It's a machine that'll make men fly. Well, it'll never fly if you can't get your idea across. Here, use this Xerox desktop publisher. The workstation lets you create your documents, then the laser printer prints it out laser perfect. Looks neat, huh? And it'll fly.
Desktop publishing from Team Xerox. It brings out the genius in you.
Clemson with the lead for the first time. You know, we saw Danny Ford with John Dockery, but I don't think we heard everything he said at halftime to his football team.
I'll guarantee you he could not repeat what he told his football. I think he was hot, and you could read that in his emotion in talking with John. I think he went down there, and he changed the tempo of this football team because they came out with a much more and a higher intensity level. That offensive line was coming off the ball much better.
Boy, they had gaping holes, and Flowers and Johnson, they did the job. They stayed on the ground all the way on that drive.
That's what they told us they were going to do last night.
That's right. Well, now they're kind of falling into our game plan, right? They're going along with us.
To us up here.
Yeah, right. Anyway, Clemson with the lead. They trailed early 7-0. They tied it up. Now lead it 14-7. There's your time left in the third quarter. Nothing fancy about that. You just knock people down and hand the ball off to a guy who has run the 60-yard dash faster than anybody in the history of this school. Pretty deadly combination. There's Anderson for the kickoff. Now can the Terrapins come back? They're a good catch-up football team.
They're a much better second-half team than they have been the first half, so I'd look for them to put some points on the board.
Here comes Anderson, and he'll bring it out to the 29. Well, Dick, let's look ahead tomorrow on the NFL on CBS. Of course, starting with the NFL today, and many of you will see the Giants and Minnesota. Minnesota has had a lot of offense this year.
They have. You know, I did the first game of the year, Brookshire and I, and we really thought Minnesota was going to be a good football team from studying their films, and they proved us right. Actually, my computer picks Minnesota by 1 point over the Giants.
Don't tell him that. Jimmy the Greek hears that. He'll change his prediction tomorrow. And then later, the Cowboys against the Chargers. You like Dallas. You like their football team.
Yeah, I do. I think they're better than their record, to be honest with you.
Here's the pass, and it's complete. Milling in. Here comes Maryland roaring right back. James Milling going out of bounds. Across the 45 to the 40. Boy, I'll tell you.
There's the rest of the guys that were in that caravan, I'm sure, following that car with a flag on. There they are.
That's pretty creative, though, you got to admit. They can still spell. They're in the right order, right? Milling now, 3 catches, 46 yards. That was a 17-yard completion to the 46-yard line. 14-7 Clemson. This is Neal. And Neal will get to about the 48-yard line, and he'll be gobbled up at that point, or to bring up a second down. Last year, Clemson had the lead down in Death Valley, only to see Maryland come from behind to win it.
Direct your attention to the big offensive lineman, number 66, who just pulls over there and he traps. He kicks out number 6 and opens the hole, but the running back, number 48, Tommy Neal, falls down, slipping on the bad footing out there.
Well, that's where they resodded the infield, where the Orioles play here. There's been some treacherous footing out there. Second down and 9. Henning dumps it off to Neal. Neal to the 50. Neal will make it to the 48-yard line. Short of the first down, and let's rejoin John Dockery after a 6-yard pickup.
Thank you, Gary. And this Maryland just went to this bin right here and took out their warm weather gear. Remember yesterday, Michael Perry, Rodney Williams from Clemson here at the stadium freezing. There was some concern that a warm weather team was coming to play in the cold weather. Right now, the chill is on the Maryland side of the field, and it's important that Dan Henning get them going.
I'll tell you right now, I bought a big jacket for this game. It's getting colder. Third down, 4. Over the middle, John Sullivan. Sullivan has a first down catch to the 40-yard line of Clemson.
Did you see Dan Henning just sit there and just ignore everybody around him?
It's called poise, isn't it?
Tremendous poise for a young man. This guy is just a junior. He just sat in there, just waiting for things to happen, oblivious to the pass rush.
Well, he waited a long time to play. They had Boomer Esiason, Frank Wright, Dan Gelbaugh, and now he's finally gotten a chance.
And he's close to breaking many of Esiason's records.
At the 40, first down now for the Terrapins. They trail by 7. Heading to Neal. Neal wrapped up, and I mean wrapped up at the 38-yard line. Good reaction that time by the Clemson defense. They lead in total defense. They lead in the rush as far as the ACC statistics are concerned.
They've only been giving up 110 yards a game. That's not a lot of yards.
It is not a lot of yards.
But the people have thrown for 205 yards against them, and I think you'll see them run right now just enough to keep them honest and get that ball downfield with a passing game.
They've allowed only 14.3 points a game. They lead at 14-7 right now. Second and 8. Blitz. Oh, did he get nailed? And he gets it off, completes it to Bonato, but Henning is getting up very shaky. Going to be all right, but what courage he showed. He was drilled that time and still completed a 12-yard pass.
You're going to see a quarterback throw under duress. Everybody's coming after him. Now, late you'll appear. There he comes. There's the safety, number 28, and he got it off just as he was hit. He has plenty strength in that arm.
Boy, he does. Richard Smith.
Here's another
safety
shot.
You were talking
Here
about.
he is, Richard Smith. Boom! Right up underneath the chin. Receiver did a good job. John Bonato coming back and making the catch.
Henning popped up after kind of getting up slowly. Then he ran back. He's ready to go again. First down. Straight ahead. And this is a very impressive drive right now by Maryland.
The tempo of both football teams have changed, and it shows how important the leadership of both head coaches, how important it is in terms of contributing to that football. Both teams are different teams out there right now.
It's interesting. You said you can't always give those fiery pep talks. You got to pick your spots.
No, but you got to get after the guys that need to be getting after.
That may be every week, huh? Second down 7 after Schreiber carried on that last play. This time, new running back. That's Lowry, Glenn Lowry, who expected to start this game, carrying for the first time. He picks up the first down. Lowry had started the last 2 games for Maryland, and he's been conspicuous by his absence, but on his first carry, he picked up 7 yards.
Running back to your right, draw play, quarterback brings it nice to him. He gets upfield, makes the people miss right up in there. He's in the hole now, up there, first down. Nice running, good draw, execution.
The Alexandria for Virginia. It's going to bring up now, first down at the 16.
He's happier now.
He'll be happier if they get this in. Joins goes in motion on a first down. Henning over the middle. It is Joins. Joins inside the 10. He'll go out of bounds in the vicinity of the 8-yard line. Gene Beasley over to knock him out of bounds. 8-yard pickup, and this is a well-oiled machine right now.
Vernon Joines, number 80, will appear to the left side of your screen, having gone in motion from one side of the field to the other. He was underneath the linebackers. He's a big, tall guy with good speed. Makes the first down again. No, not first down. Gets the 2 to go.
2 to go. 2nd and 2. 5 straight completions now by Henning. Line of scrimmage, the 8. They need 2 yards on the 2nd down. And here comes the fullback Schreiber to try to get it. Looks like he got to the 5. Let's see where they're going to mark it. This Maryland team dropping off in their rushing game, only averaging 130 yards, which is drastically down because in the past they have manhandled people up front. Let's see. It's going to be short, I believe, of the first down. It will be. 3rd down. They're going to mark the ball at the 6-yard line.
They're coming with their short yardage personnel right now. I watched them on the practice field the other day, late in practice. They were working on this phase of the game down inside this territory.
Looks like Maryland wants a timeout. They've got one of their backs over here, Schreiber, trying to get their attention, and they got it. He'd come over to the near side, and all of a sudden, Henning, he caught his attention. He pivots, and Maryland will use their first timeout. Again, you know, that's where it's got to be frustrating for Bobby Ross, trying to get the attention.
Now, Bobby Ross, I mean, he can't get their attention from up here. Fortunately, he has an outstanding staff. They're experienced. They've worked with him here for a number of years. They know what they're doing.
3rd and 1 when we come back.
Hello, I'm Leona, your automatic teller. Can I help you with a student loan?
No, a car loan, Leona. Fast forward.
Home improvement loan.
It's a General Motors car.
Don't get hassled when you finance a new car or truck. Get GMAC financing only at your GM dealer.
Is there someone live I could talk with around
Do we
here?
have one of our calendars? This is a fan calendar. We also have what they call a print calendar. If I can only find it.
Entrepreneur. One who assumes the risks of business. Rockwell International managers have the entrepreneurial freedom to move through the maze of business challenges. With advanced technologies and innovative quality products, Rockwell International entrepreneurs get results.
When McMahon's out, uncertainty sets in. Tomorrow, the turbulent Bears meet the Falcons, a team fighting for a playoff berth. And it all starts with the NFL today on CBS Sports.
We go down memory lane again. The date, November 24th, 1973. You remember this guy? Ohio State coach Woody Hayes. The Buckeyes' 2-time Heisman Trophy winner Archie Griffin found big holes in the first half of this game against the Michigan Wolverines. And then this Pete Johnson touchdown in the second quarter gave Ohio State a 10-0 halftime lead. But Michigan, as they've done so often, stormed back. This Dennis Franklin keeper tied the game at 10. Franklin was injured later. The game ended in a tie in a controversial decision. Big Ten Conference athletic directors voted Ohio State to the Rose Bowl, even though Michigan completely outplayed them. And Ohio State went on to win the Rose Bowl over USC 42-21. It brings back some memories, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I love that Coach Hayes. I'll tell you, he's a really well-respected man in the profession.
And that's coming up next Saturday. This is the 11th play on this drive now. A 3rd and 1. Joins in motion. Henning to Neal. He's got it. Neal inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal now for Maryland.
Did you see Tommy Neal, the fullback, approach the line of scrimmage, widen his base, widening his feet, and then make his cut? Direct your attention to the fullback now as the quarterback reverse pivots. There he is. He gets it to him deep. Now look at him widen his base, square his feet so he can cut either right or left according to what he sees on the line of scrimmage. Good running by the fullback. Take a look at another angle. We can see it better. Fullback in the middle of your screen, 48. Now watch him widen his base. Chop step, find the opening, 1st down.
1st and goal at the 4. Maryland trying to tie this football game up. This is Blount, but wait a minute. Penalty flags are going to stop the play.
Boy, I wouldn't waste much time down here in this area with counteractions and anything that hit late because this defense is intense enough and they have
delay a game? Oh, my God. Is that a costly penalty? Now, that's got to change your play calling.
Yes, it does. But in terms of throwing the ball, it helps you a little bit.
Yeah, it gives you a little
more room to operate.
Yeah. That's the 11th penalty, Dick, for 96
Dead ball,
yards.
delay of game. The 25-second clock had expired.
Clemson making a last-second change defensively. The line of scrimmage now at the 9. It'll be 1st and goal from there. Henning up the middle. Blount will get to the 5. It'll be 2nd and goal there. Dave Amon, 77, through the key block. Let's watch it.
Going to run right into your lever room. Here he comes, a little handoff right up inside, trap block. There's a nice block. You saw it flash across the screen. He protects the ball, moves it toward that goal line.
They're getting some mileage out of those two seniors, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they're working.
Blunt and Neal
earning their scholarships.
2nd and goal now from the 5. Henning. Milling, touchdown. Nope, out of bounds. Boy, this is close. Milling could not get 1 foot in, apparently.
I think it was a good call. It looked like it from here anyway.
Let's see.
Quarterback will take just a 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3, lay it up over the outside. We call that meet me at the corner. Here he is. He goes up for the ball nicely. Let's see where that foot comes down. No, he's on the line. Good call by the official.
Boy, I tell you, you've got great eyes, Coach. That was close.
Take a look at it. You'll see it, what I saw there. Now watch. The ball's going to come down to the left side of the screen. There he is, coming down. Foot right on the line. Oh, I'm glad. Here's another shot. Take a look at this one. Can't tell there. I think it was a good call.
All right, we'll go with it. He's not going to change it, I'll tell you. Here's 3rd and 5 from the goal, and it's batted down. There's Meadows, 84. Earl, number 9. It was Earl that had the hand up. James Earl, out of Easley, South Carolina, 6'5", 215-pounder.
Let's take another look at that controversial pass reception. Here it is. He's going up in the air nicely. Now watch that right leg as it comes down. The toe is just on the line. I'll tell you, it's close. Remember, fans, both feet do not have to be in bounds as in pro football.
I tell you what, the more I look at it, the more I'm beginning to wonder now. But you are convinced, though. You've been convinced from the... Hey, by the way, we have Beasley shaking up going out, but you were convinced before we even saw the replay, and that impresses me. You've watched a lot of football games, obviously.
And I've been wrong a lot of times.
Okay, Plotke, they're going to have to settle for the field goal. Will come in.
This kid has never missed one inside the 30-yard line, so chances are he's going to make it unless it's blocked.
It's 10 of 12 for the year. This will be a 22-yard attempt. Henning will hold. And he made that look very easy, didn't he? Yeah. So Plotke with his 11th field goal of the year. So Maryland climbs closer in this football game. 14-10.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
It's the rhythm of the road. It's pulse on the street. Pulse on the street. City and town, a magic sound.
Put yourself in today's Chevy S10 Blazer and listen to your heartbeat. It's America's favorite sport utility vehicle.
Ooh, the heartbeat of America.
Chevrolet.
This little movement reflects pure genius. The genius of the Minolta AF Telecamera. The genius of the very first autofocus auto everything compact to build in 2 lenses, one standard, one telephoto, motorized at the flip of a switch. Minolta AF Tele gives you brilliant 35mm pictures of someone close or even closer. Make the creative choice. Minolta AF Tele.
Only from the mind of Minolta.
Wednesday, is this a murder magnum road?
There's real help on the way.
Does this big mainland investigator have a name?
J.B. Fletcher.
I'm sure that normally you're very good at what you do.
4:03 to go in the 3rd quarter here at Baltimore Memorial Stadium. 14-10 Clemson. Dick, this is by far the most impressive stage of the game. Both teams have moved the ball well in this 3rd quarter.
Execution better, tempo better, concentration better. Penalties still hurting them a little bit. I think you'll see Clemson come back and go right back with that running game and take advantage of that tempo, eat up the clock, and at least, if they don't score, get the better field position.
What did Danny Ford say? The team that controls the line of scrimmage is going to win this one.
Right, and so far, this ball game's got a long ways to go.
We're going to look at milling again. We're going to run this until either I'm convinced or you're convinced. But you are convinced it's out. Here it goes.
The ball's coming down to the middle of the screen. The running back receiver, goes up and takes it. His right foot comes down. See, the toe is on the line. Good call by the official. Now, if I was coaching, I'd be madder than heck.
If you were Maryland. Yeah. Here's the kickoff now by Paredes. Griffin's got it. And he'll bring it out to the 25, 26-yard line. So Clemson, who moved the ball so effectively, 56 yards the previous time with Kenny Flowers scoring, will come in. Here's Rodney Williams. Williams, 6'2", 200-pound sophomore out of Columbia, South Carolina. He started 9 games last year. Had a 5-4 record. He had a battle with Randy Anderson, the starting quarterback. Won the job, and then Randy had an unfortunate injury last week. He cut his wrist trying to get back into his dormitory room, and he's out for the rest of the year. So it's his job. From the 26, first down for the Tigers. Pitch lately to Flowers, and I tell you, I was faked out. I thought the fullback had the ball, and all of a sudden it comes out of there to Kenny Flowers.
Rod Williams did a real nice job of reading that play and pitching it out late. Actually, I think that's about the first time we've seen the full option run.
That's right. They have taken a lot of risks. Well, we talked about the poll. They've had how many calls? 37,000, and yes, 93%, 7% no. Should there be an annual game to decide this championship? What do you think, Coach?
I think forget it. Stay with the bowl picture as it is. The kids are out of the classroom enough.
That's what Bo Schembecker said in the report we had earlier. First down now after that run by Flowers. Here's Williams. That's going to be trapped hot on the skip. Brulak trying to come up with it.
You know, that's one thing that's tough for a quarterback in terms of being an option running type offense, because you never really get warmed up throwing. You throw he hasn't, what's that last drive, as you said, he didn't throw a pass.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden he's got to throw a critical pass.
Well, plus you spend so much practice time running your option, you don't overpass that much.
You don't. The option game takes tremendous amount of practice and preparation work. It's actually, I'm surprised that Maryland's doing such a good job against it, because they haven't seen it much this year.
That was the first pass of the second half by Clemson. 7 of 13 is Williams. In motion is Cooper. Flowers, who scored earlier and has played so well in the third quarter, carries again. Comes across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Chuck Bassett and Keita coming to make the stop.
Big Pat Williams, the offensive left guard, did a real nice job.
Near the conclusion of today's game, Dick and I will be participating in a 16-year tradition, selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each of the teams, and Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Right now, it'd be hard to pick, wouldn't it? It would be. From the 43, third down 3. Lancaster, the fullback, and he spins and he gets it. Let's go back to John Dockery.
Thank you, Gary. I'm with the Clemson Tiger, and we talked about the weather being a factor. This man is one of the warmest men in the stadium because he has a head that weighs 20 pounds, a suit that weighs 45 pounds, and his job is to do push-ups after each Clemson score. But you know what just struck me? Danny Ford said, you know, he wouldn't mind being on the sidelines disguised as a water boy, but who knows with his sense of humor. Danny, is that you in there? Oh, no? Not Danny, it's Christian Malonis. Now back to you.
The strong silent type, right? Here's Danny. I wonder if he's watching any of the TV from over here. He is really right now glued on the field. On a first down, it's Lancaster again. Straight ahead football to the 48. Maryland getting a little stiffer in the middle right now after that drive previous to this.
Tommy Parker did a nice job on that one, number 91. And they were running those inside traps, and then the sprint draw, that deep, slow-hitting eye play that broke, and the inside of the defense got stretched, and they're playing a little tighter techniques in there right now.
Only 2 running backs this year have gained over 100 yards against Maryland, and they had Flagler shut down in that first half. Here's Williams wanting to throw. Nice catch is made that time by Ray Williams. He had to go low to come up with that one, and he did.
Good execution of the quarterback, making running play fake, coming right out of that, and popped the slant pass. You can't imagine how tough that is to really do, you know, because you really never get to set and throw the ball.
You got to locate your receiver in a hurry.
Yes, and you got to be aware that the linebacker might be coming because you have no one to block him over there.
So it's another first down. Sets it up the 43 of Maryland. We have 1:42 left in the third quarter. 14-10, Clemson. In the lineup right now is Gary Cooper, number 25, at a wide receiver, and Williams loses his footing. That's that same area, Coach. You can see it's really being torn up. Used to be the infield here during the baseball season. It just really hasn't taken hold. We had a lot of guys fall down in that area.
Well, we walked through there yesterday, and we could, you know, it was muggy then and soft and spongy, and you could just imagine digging your cleats in and trying to drive off and that stuff. You don't get that same kind of traction that you get in the other areas of the field.
And it's very muddy out there, which, along with the grass not holding, that's a deadly combination. Second down, 9 yards to go. Rulak comes in motion. Flowers going to be shoved back. Boy, he gets off the mark quickly, doesn't he? And now we have a little shoving and wrestling match going on at the 35-yard line. Chuck Bassett and Bob Arnold in on the stop. Again tomorrow, the NFL Today, 12:30 Eastern. Joe Morris. What a durable back he's become this year now for the Giants. Tommy Kramer of the Vikings. And, of course, Dallas going to San Diego. San Diego, the new coach out there now, Al Saunders.
Well, I'll tell you, at least an interim coach, it's got to be impossible to become a head coach in the middle of the season and just revamp and interject your philosophy and thinking and, you know, reshape the whole organization.
And he's going against the guy who's been around a while, Tom Landry. Talk about the opposites, huh? Third down, 9. Williams wanting to throw. And wide open is Riggs, the tight end. There's a penalty flag, though, as Riggs is dropped at the 15-yard line. There's some of that speed we've heard about. Riggs runs about a 4.63 40, and he was very quickly in the open, but I think it's coming back.
Gary, the umpire, Ernest Cage, is from Maryland.
Now, wait a minute. You're going to really start something, aren't you?
Oh, calamity. Let them play, guys.
Well, you better read the rest of them now if you're going to mention just one guy.
Offense holding. Third down.
It's interesting you bring it up. There's from Greenville, South Carolina, is Rod Daly. Let's see if we can pick it up here.
Let's see if we can find the holding penalty. The ball is snapped. Defensive linemen are coming in there. I see Pat Williams, number 75. I don't know. I don't see anything yet. I don't know. You know, nowadays, because you can extend those hands in pass protection, it is hard to call.
We've come through 3 quarters of play. 14-10. Clemson. We'll be right back after this message and a word from your local station.
Balance. It is stability based on planned diversity. Rockwell International's continuous growth results from a balance of businesses. Outstanding performance in electronics, aerospace, automotive, industrial automation, and general industries. Rockwell International, down-to-earth management and opportunities as limitless as space.
A jellyfish swims faster than that.
Not with a clogged nose like this.
Oh, try this. Sidex, I need help now.
You got it. Hit this when you feel it.
1 second.
With Sinex Vapors, you feel better in 1 second. Plus, it's strong decongestant, keeps you breathing free for hours.
And you're gonna need it for hours.
Whoa!
Sinex, regular or long-lasting. Feeling better is a second away. From Vicks, of course.
This is CBS.
You can feel it. A fast start. Quick response and smooth performance.
Running smooth and silent. Exxon.
Try Exxon Extra Premium. Its high-octane power formula with detergent additive XCL12 cleans fuel injectors, helps silence knocks, and keeps you running smooth.
Running with the Tiger. Exxon.
Commuter 106 preparing for takeoff.
Every day, thousands of travelers take to the skies on commuter airlines. Regional flyers play a vital role in our national transportation. But as traffic grows, so do concerns about pilot training, rapid turnover, and safety regulations. I'm Jane Miller. In a business where pilot experience can make all the difference in the world, it's important to know who's flying this plane. A News 11 close-up, Monday at 11 on News 11.
You're watching Channel 11 WBAL-TV in Baltimore.
That's not your shower curtains you're looking at. That's the Tiger shorts, the Tiger rag from the mascot of Clemson. How'd you like to have a pair like that, Coach?
I tell you, I'd be afraid to wear them.
We start the fourth quarter. Third down, 19 for Clemson. Rodney Williams with a lot of time. Ray Williams has got it. And that is going to be a first down because of his second effort. He had caught the ball 2 yards short of the first down, scrambled forward, and got it.
Here it is, third down and long, and Clemson comes with a play-action pass, which on third down and long you wouldn't think would freeze the linebackers, but they did. Play-action pass, tailback deep to the right of your screen, makes a little token fake right there. Williams looking back, a crossing pattern, there it comes open, they're big, deep, what we call the six pattern, does a good job of catching. Now the second effort. Fawcett comes in and he almost loses the football.
Yes, he did. I didn't see that the first time, but it was his second effort that got the first down. A 19-yard pickup to the 32 of Maryland. Straight ahead, Lancaster, maybe a yard. Second down, 9 coming up. Well, that's if statistics mean anything, has got to be encouraging to Clemson.
It would give you a little confidence.
Yes, it would.
Done that in the past.
Yet they haven't scored a lot of points in the fourth quarter, have they?
No, they've only scored 34 points on the year in the fourth quarter, which averages out to be just a little bit under 4 points a game in the fourth quarter. That's
of course, they may have been leading and pulled their troops out.
Pull the horses out.
Yeah. Second down, still virtually 10 yards to go. Williams will pitch back to Flagler, who's back in the game. And Flagler's not going to go very far. He may have gotten to the 30. Fawcett, number 11, over to make the stop. Fawcett, their leading tackler, has been in a lot of stops in this game. He's number 11. He raises piranhas, 17 of them, in his apartment or dormitory. It couldn't be the dormitory. It'd have to be his apartment. They wouldn't let him have piranhas in the dorm, would they?
He played 2 years of professional baseball in the Toronto chain. I asked him about that. He said, Coach, those bus rides were terrible. He has a UCLA tattoo on him.
I know it.
He had signed a letter of intent to go to UCLA and then signed a professional baseball contract.
He says he's preppy now. He's not as crazy as he used to be. Third down and 8. Williams, and can't make the connection with Flagler. So they've run out of downs.
Fawcett is playing awfully well. He was right there and forced the ball to be thrown a little bit higher, trying to get the ball into Flagler, and therefore incompleted pass.
Fawcett is like a rocket. He can run, gets over there very well. He's 6'2 and a half, 238-pounder, an all ACC pickup a year ago.
Willingboro High School in Willingboro, New Jersey.
Had some good ones out of there.
You see this? Look at this. They use the open, what do they call that? The
water bucket shift. I can't ever get that right. Here's Treadwell now. This is going to be a 47-yard field goal attempt. And this one's not going to make it. So Treadwell, who earlier missed a 48-yarder, now misses from 47 yards away. And so Clemson loses an opportunity. They still lead it by 4.
Heartbeat of America.
When your standards are higher than you think you can afford, put yourself in today's Chevy Nova and listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Who says you can't have old world taste and a new world waste? Old world aging and the new world's youthful spirit. Europe's finest hops in America's finest light beer. Michelob Light, old world quality from Anheuser-Busch. Michelob Light, the best of both worlds.
Michelob Light, oh yes you can have it all.
This man murdered 17 innocent children, and this man is about to set him free. Who does the law protect? Peter Strauss in Penalty Phase, Tuesday.
All right, John Dockery, you got it.
Thank you, Gary. You know, you've been watching Lancaster, the great blocker for Clemson. Well, he has other talents as well. If you look over here, you'll see that he's also a barber, and this is a sample of the Lancaster design. Dick and Gary, the price is right if you are interested.
I'm not. Thank you. Dick might be, but I'm not. Anyway, after the missed field goal from the 30-yard line now, Maryland with a 4-point deficit to make up. Henning, that's a busted play. Nobody there, and he has to eat the football.
Something's wrong. They can't afford to make any mistakes. They've got to move the ball out there, at least move it out there so when Clemson gets the ball back, they have a long ways to go.
Michael Dean Perry was there. I am really impressed with Perry, and I got to tell you, I just thought maybe because his brother was such a good player that he was getting some of that notoriety, but he can hold his hat high. He has played very, very well in this football game, been all over the place.
Yes, he has.
Loss on the play, 2nd and 12. Looks like they've got the blitz coming, or at least they faked it. Now they back out. Henning on the 2nd and 12, on target. This is Bryn Lowry and the freshman across the 45 to the 47-yard line.
You know, Maryland can't afford to get conservative because they have the lead, because they won't move the ball well enough without putting the ball in the air.
Lowry short of the first down. It's going to be 3 yards short. 3rd down coming up. Lowry coming in here had 5 catches. Seen a lot of action here in the second half. 2 receivers split on the near side. Joins. Also over here is Bonato. 3rd down, 3. Henning to Lowry. Lowry's got the first down and is knocked out of bounds. So the Terrapins will keep it moving. While we check the chain gang, we'll be in New York with John Nance.
All right, Gary. Texas A&M becomes the 2nd team from the top 10 to lose today. Arkansas held A&M on downs inside the 10 in the closing seconds. So the Southwest Conference looks like this right now. The Aggies still in front. They can control their own destiny. They'll need wins over TCU next week and a win over Texas the following week to go to the Cotton Bowl. Let's go back to Gary and Dick.
Okay, Jim, it is Jim Nance with that update. And now with a first down, the line of scrimmage, the 43-yard line. In motion is Sean Sullivan. Back to throw. Henning over the middle. Wide open is Sullivan. And Sullivan will go out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Gene Beasley rams him out of bounds, and Henning has him moving.
The whole key to that pass, the success of the pass, was the fact that the running back, who makes a nice fake right in here, picks up the safety as he comes in there. See him pick up the safety, and the linebacker gave him time to get the ball here to Sullivan. Now he's going to get that first down, out of bounds.
Well, he just ran away from Delton Hall on that play, Dick, as he came across. That's a 15-yard pickup. 15 of 32 now, 195 yards for Henning. On the 42. Straight ahead comes Lowry. Lowry inside the 40 to the 39-yard line.
Doing a good job of mixing up the run, the draw, and the pass. That time a nice little draw play.
And they've shown some depth at that running back spot.
They have. You know, I think a lot of coaches, on the college level, if the players are close, that they'll rotate them in and let them all play.
From the 39-yard line, it'll be 2nd down and 7 now for the Terrapins. 14-10, Clemson. Henning up the field, and it's broken up, milling the intended receiver. Very good defensive work by Wolford.
Did a super job. That's the 9th pass he's defensed himself this year. Good job. Drop back pass. Watch the tight end right there. You just lost him on the screen. Got knocked down. The ball was thrown where it had to be thrown, to the outside. Good drive on the ball. He got his right hand over there and knocked it out. Good job by Donnell Wolford.
Bobby Ross said 2 words about Wolford. Really something. And you can see why he's so impressed with it.
Yes, and he's the most improved defensive back in the whole squad.
3rd down and 7 now. Broken up. That's Wolford again, the intended receiver over the middle. Bonato.
Did you see him slip that left hand in there?
Yes, I did.
Flip it out. Nice job again by Donnell Wolford. That's not as easy to do in those type of post patterns when they're running upfield as well. It's hard not to interfere with the man.
He's excited, isn't he? He's the leader of that secondary.
You know, the thing is, though, this football team has thrown over 300 passes on the year, and they have not had one pass defense interference called the whole year. That's almost impossible.
I think it's amazing we haven't had any turnovers. Here is the snap to right. They let it hit at the 10. Maryland down there, and it's going to go out of bounds at about the 2-yard line. Wasn't a very pretty punt, but it was an effective one, a 36-yarder. But wait a minute, There's a penalty flag way out here at the 40. That doesn't surprise you, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It's going to be holding against Maryland.
Can you imagine Bobby Ross's frustration with all the things they have going to realize that his quarterback has thrown the ball over 300 times and no one has interfered with one of his receivers? I say that's impossible. Maybe the defenders are so bad they can't get close enough. Huh? I don't know.
What do you want me to say? I don't have any comeback on that.
I know it. He can't understand it himself. But, you know, sometimes as a coach, you get the feeling that, you know, that 15% of the ball game being good fortune or bad fortune, and it's going against you.
They don't even up?
Well, it takes about 25 years to even up.
Is that right?
Not many of us stay in the business that long.
Who can last that long, huh? That penalty against Maryland, by the way, was the 12th of the game for 106 yards. Here's Wolford back, who's been superlative in this fourth quarter. 2 fine defensive efforts. This time, Wright's drilling this one down to the 5, and they're going to get another outstanding placement. This time at the 5 instead of the 2. That's a 44-yarder by Darrell Wright.
You know, with that turf being as spongy and soft down there, that ball almost looked like it went in like a golf ball would, you know?
Maryland will take it any way they can.
We're MCI. Thousands of people pulling together to give you the best in the communications business. MCI competes with fiber optics in place now for superior call quality and data transmission. Our competition is good. We have to be better. And because we compete, you win. MCI. Communications for the next 100 years.
Today's Equitable has new ideas in financial planning that can help pay for the home you live in or build you a vacation home. Today's Equitable, your key to financial opportunity. Our new ideas not only protect you, but can help send your kids to college. Today's Equitable, your key to financial opportunity. Our agents and financial planners can show you new ways to make high returns on your money.
We are the Equitable.
Your key to financial opportunity.
Sometimes getting car financing turns out to be one long hassle.
What kind of car did you have in mind?
A Fiero.
Oh, an Italian car.
It's a Pontiac from General
You know,
Motors.
they make Chevrolets, Oldsmobiles, Buicks, Cadillacs.
CMC trucks.
This is none of my business, but those are not Italian cars.
Make it easy on yourself. Finance your car or truck right at your GM dealer with GMAC.
You understand, we do have to know what you want to do with all these cars.
Nobody knows more about financing and leasing cars than GMAC.
Clemson leading here earlier today. Holy Cross defeated William & Mary 31-7. And what a story. Gordy Lockbaum has been just superb this year. Well, I'll give you an idea. Going into today's game, he had 42 catches for Holy Cross. He also leads them in rushing. He had over 700 yards rushing, 12 rushing touchdowns. And you know what? He even plays defense. He can do it all. Here he is running for Holy Cross. He's made 44 tackles on the year. He makes an interception here and returns it. They are now 10-0 this season. And Gordy Lockbaum is one of the outstanding all-around players in the country.
You know, there are probably more guys like that probably right on the field, but because of the specialization and the sophistication of the major college football, you don't use a guy both ways.
From the 5-yard line. Ball is loose. And Maryland has recovered. The first turnover of the football game. And Maryland now has it at the 6-yard line.
I just saw the ball come popping out to the left side of that formation.
Awfully noisy at that closed end of the stadium now. Henning trying to get his troops aligned properly. Schreiber in motion. Tommy Neal straight ahead inside the 5. Looks Shows you how difficult it is sometimes down in that closed in. See all the people located there. They are Maryland fans, however.
It can be very tough to hear down there from a quarterback standpoint. They won't be audibling in this situation, which they do audible a lot, but I don't think you audible very much in the goal line situations.
On the other end is where Clemson is. They're at the open end.
We're right there in the pitch, Gary.
Second and goal at the 4. Joins in motion. Neal again. Neal struggles close to the goal line. He's to the 1.
Neal runs with a real good forward body tilt, good lean, and yet he's not so far forward that he can't keep, his balance. Really a good job. Here you are. You're a fan sitting there watching. You be the linebacker. Would you make this play? I tell you, it looks a lot easier than it really is. Here it is. He's handing it off deep. Now watch him get his pads forward. Good body tilt, good balance.
He's 13 for 57. He's already scored a touchdown. Third and goal at the 1. Driver again in motion. Neal again, and Neal for a touchdown.
Same kicking formation.
They shift over just like Clemson did. And Plotke now will attempt the point after. Henning had to get that snap down in a hurry, and he did it.
They ran the same fullback slant type play 3 times, twice to the left, once to the right. The third time to the left is a charm. It's a touchdown. Everyone down in there low, getting the blockers down, pads down. He walks in for the touchdown. Mr. Neal, very effective short yardage goal line runner. 14 touchdowns on the year. That makes it his 15th, rather on the career.
2 in this football game. Maryland has taken the lead. They lead at 17-14.
Who says you can't have 100% imported hops and a less filling beer? Old world aging and a less filling beer. Smooth super premium taste and a less filling beer. Michelob Light, the best of both worlds.
Michelob Light, oh yes you can. Have it all. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat.
When you want to feel the thunder, put yourself in today's Chevrolet Camaro IROC Z and listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America. Dave Chevrolet.
For information on the Sjogren Syndrome Foundation Support Group in Baltimore, call 391-8318.
CBS Sports presents college football, sponsored by Michelob Light, super premium taste and less filling beer. The Equitable, your key to financial opportunity. And by MCI, communications for the next 100 years. Well, there's been so much happening. Neal scored the touchdown, but we want to go back and show you the fumble. It happened so quickly. This Tracy Johnson
goes in there. A great hit right up underneath by Chuck Fawcett, number 11, with his helmet on the ball. Knocked it out, and Tommy Parker, number 91, comes over and gets the fumble recovery.
And then it took 3 plays to go 6 yards. Neal scoring his second touchdown of the game. And for the second time, Maryland has the lead in this game.
Fawcett would have to be a candidate for the MVP.
Yes, sir. I think
you're right. Made a lot
of
good plays out there.
Tommy Neal might too. There's a switch around. They'd like to get Rulak with a football. Each time it's been Griffin. And this time Rulak, who leads the nation in kickoff returns, is going to try one. Averaging 32 yards a kick. And he doesn't go anywhere with that one. The 16-yard line. Let's go to New York. Here's Jim Nance.
All right, Gary, final 2 minutes at Seattle, and UCLA's David Franey from 42 yards trying to break a tie, and Franey got it. So the Bruins lead at 17-14, a minute 13 to go. Back to Gary and Dick.
You don't realize how tough it is to win up in Seattle, believe me.
Well, that keeps Terry Donahue in the chance to go to a New Year's Day Bowl now.
Oh, they will. They're a good football team, and they belong in a bowl game.
The line of scrimmage, the 17 now for Clemson. The movement on the left side, and Maryland is really storming them defensively. There was movement on that play. The left side of the offensive line for the Tigers looked to me like they left the mark. Let's see.
I think Frank Diulis, number 70.
That's what it was. Dabrowski in there now with Fawcett. Pettibone has not been in there all that much. As we told you, he was very sick all week.
Lost 9 pounds this week. It's the first game his dad, who's the defensive coordinator for Washington Redskins.
The offensive team.
First time he's had a chance to come and see his son play, because they play a Monday night game this week, the Redskins do, and he's been sick all week.
It's to have some of that sickness if they can win this one. 8:56 left to go. First down 15 after the penalty. Williams to throw and broken up. Boy, Maryland is fired up right now.
John Sabrowski, I think, number 58, tipped that ball. Ford is really upset. Look at him.
I asked him,
you gotta feel so helpless up here. You just gotta feel helpless.
I said, you know, you chew your tobacco during the game. What are you going to do up in the press box? He said, I hadn't thought about that. I'm going to have to find a spit tube. There he is. He just used one. Second and 15. This crowd into the football game. Bob Arnold there, defensively. John Dockery's and all that melee down there. Let's go to him.
Thank you, Gary. And if you're looking for an MVP, you might use the 12th man. I'm standing on the 5-yard line, down by the closed end, and the decibel level here when Clemson fumbled before was incredible. You could see the distraction on the Clemson players' faces. And then the touchdown by Maryland. It is incredibly loud here. Now back to you.
Third down and 12. Williams threw it behind his intended receiver.
Good pressure there by Warren Powers, number 90.
Flag to the intended receiver on that play, Dick.
You did the splits again in that soft ground, trying to come back to make the catch. Number 90, Warren Powers, did an awfully good job.
Boy,
he's the youngest of 6 children, this guy.
I tell you, he has a great future ahead of him. They say he's got everything you want in that position. Great physical skill. Anderson back now to receive this punt from Spires. It takes a Clemson bounce, and they're going to come out of this one in pretty good shape. Coming all the way down to the 36-yard line. It ends up being a 48-yard punt. Next Saturday on CBS, doubleheader of college football. And what a matchup this is going to be for the right to go to the Rose Bowl. Michigan against Ohio State. You talk about tradition. Those teams have gone after it so many times, and it'll be right here on CBS. And then further out west in Tucson, Larry Smith's Arizona Wildcats will go against Arizona State and John Cooper. What a job he has done for the Sun Devils.
A great job of coaching, and probably will be maybe the college coach of the year.
First down now from the 36-yard line. That's Bryn Lowry. Lowry maybe for a yard. 7 minutes, 47 seconds left in the game. A 3-point lead for Maryland.
I still don't believe with that 3-point lead that Maryland can say, hey, we've got the ball game won, we'll conserve it, or we'll run the ball. They've got to keep the football, because you know that Clemson can put points on the board. They haven't done it yet, but they can. They can explode all at once.
Well, they did at the start of the third quarter. Heading back, second down, 8. That ball looked like it was caught for a moment and then got away. Intended receiver was Milling. I think he had it for an instant there.
They had drop the ball problems all day long. They've had. Maybe it's the cold weather. No, they've got the gloves on and all that kind of stuff. But you know the difference in college and pro. Pro football players really are not concerned about the weather. I mean, that's the way they make a living. They become disciplined enough. Hey, they practice in it. They play in it. If they're in warm weather, they travel to it. It doesn't bother them. College kids, it tends to bother them more. Now, Maryland should be used to it.
3rd down, 8. Henning going up top. Milling is there. Can't get him, and guess who's there again? Wolford. What an outstanding performance by Wolford. We're at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium in this battle for the ACC championship. Clemson could win it outright if they would pull it with a victory here, but now they find themselves trailing 17-14 with 7 minutes, 13 seconds left to go in the game. I'm Gary Bender along with Dick Vermeil, and Clemson will get the football with a lot of time yet. Back to punt the football will be Wright, number 9 for the Terps. Wolford will go back. Wolford has got to be considered for the MVP too if the way he's been playing back there. Right, not a good turn ball. Not at all. Line drive, but it gets away from Wolford. He was frozen by it. As an end result, they're going to start from the 8-yard line. Well, the big play in this second half was Clemson trying to move it out. Tracy Johnson fumbles a football, giving Maryland then the chance to go ahead in this football game.
You know, as a coach, I don't look at that as a mistake by the fullback. I would give credit to the defense. Number 11, Chuck Fawcett, who really came in and stuck him and knocked the ball out of there with his helmet. Sometimes that's just part of the game. That happens. Here's the touchdown that put him ahead right now.
Clemson at the 8. Cardo Hooper in motion. Deep handoff to Flagler. And Flagler has just been shut down in this game. He had 114 yards last week. By the way, Penn State played Notre Dame in South Bend, and they're still unbeaten. And you said, don't ever think that Joe Paterno doesn't win those big games, the crucial games, and he just did it again.
Well, we watched those films of their game last week here against Maryland, you know, and you can see they're just a well-coached, physically sound, fundamentally sound football team.
2nd down and 6. Trying to wedge it out further comes Tracy Johnson. Johnson behind that offensive line comes out to about the 17-yard line. Where to be a 3rd down coming up.
Now that's the first stage of the triple option, but you really haven't seen the second phase of it where the quarterback really comes down and makes the 3rd phase of pitching it out. We saw it one time, so you have to give credit to the Maryland defensive staff for doing a sound job. George Fasikis, the defensive coordinator, and the staff have done a great job of defensing the option offense.
Clemson now asks for a timeout. The Tigers ask for a timeout. They stop the clock with 5:59 left to go. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. You know, you're very, very reluctant, though, Dick, to try to run that triple option that deep in your own territory. And as we have told you throughout the day, and if you're just now joining us, we have a coachless game. Both this man, Danny Ford of Clemson, and Bobby Ross of Maryland were banned from the sidelines for some behavior on the sidelines that the ACC wanted to do something about. As an end result, they're up in the press box right now, and I'm sure it's been a very frustrating afternoon in a lot of ways.
Actually, I think it was the universities that set them up in the press box and off the field, and the ACC just backed it, from what I understand.
Bob James, the commissioner of the ACC. Now you can look at them. And where they are, it's not exactly what they'd like to be doing. They'd like to be on the sideline. Instead, one at one end of the press box and one at the other.
Has this ever happened before? You know, I've been threatened with it a few times.
3rd down, a yard. And there's Tracy Johnson with an excellent spinning move, and that'll get him a 1st down, and the Tigers still have the football.
He has been very impressive today with that second effort. There he used it. He dropped the shoulder, butted the tackler, and spun off it, and went on and made the 1st down.
11 carries, 59 yards. I'm sure he still feels very bad about that fumble earlier that set up the go-ahead touchdown. Now the line of scrimmage at the 25. 5:42 left to go.
It shows what confidence the coaches have in him, though. He's still in there playing.
Straight ahead. And that's Johnson again. He takes a pretty good hit, but he's got another first down. He's out to the 39-yard line.
Good inside trap play.
Again, let's go back to the poll we've had today on CBS. Should there be an annual game to decide the national championship? 93% say yes, 7% say no. And if you want to vote, just dial the respective numbers and it'll charge you 50 cents per call. Here's Rodney Williams on the keeper, and all of a sudden things are opening up.
That's
Get out of that hole and they're moving now.
Evidently, someone broke the discipline on who takes the quarterback because they didn't force the quarterback to make the pitch going into the sideline there. It really requires another level, another degree of discipline to defense a good option football team, especially if you don't see it week in and week out.
16-yard game. Remember, on the line, an outright championship for Clemson. They've already clinched a tie in the ACC.
When you get in these situations as a coach, Gary, the best thing to do is to get the ball in the guy that makes a difference. Get it in his hands. Your best player, regardless of what play it is.
There's one of their best players, Flagler, inside the 45-yard line to the 44.
Give him the opportunity to make a big play for you. All the coach in the world, hey, that's all important. The game plan, that's all important. But in this situation, when you're down with 5 minutes to go, put the ball in the hands of the guy that probably got you in this situation in the first place.
Guy that brought you to the dance,
That's
huh?
right.
Look at this. Flagler's had a tough day, 28 yards.
People used to say to me in this situation, what are you going to do? I said, I'm just going to give the ball to Wilbert Montgomery.
Clemson has 215 yards rushing in this game, and they add some more as Chris Lancaster inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. A lot of time still, 4:55.
And they're eating up a lot of time. If they do get it in the end zone, if they do get it down there won't be much time left for Maryland to come back.
And we're going to have another timeout. So the Tigers will have one left. Rodney Williams retreating to the far side. Stops the clock with 4:36. The Tigers trailing by 3.
Hi, I'm Mr. Goodwrench. I was GM trained in Chicago.
Hello, Mr. Goodwrench. Got my GM training in Terrytown, New York.
No matter where he lives.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Portland, Oregon.
Mr. Goodwrench can get something not just any mechanic can get. GM training.
Got my GM training in Oklahoma City.
I was GM trained in Atlanta. GM has training schools all over America.
Miami, Florida. Buffalo, New York.
Memphis, Tennessee. So no matter where you are.
Houston, Texas.
No one knows your GM car better. No one.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
We got Billy just what he wanted. The Radio Shack 4x4 off-roader. Look at it take those hills. And Terry got the off-road champ. Look at her go. And guess what Mom got?
Lunch is ready.
And me, I'm the flashy type. Always wanted a Ferrari.
Radio-controlled toys for kids of all ages from $11.95. Only at Radio Shack.
When McMahon's out, uncertainty sets in. Tomorrow, the turbulent Bears meet the Falcons, a team fighting for a playoff berth. And it all starts with the NFL Today on CBS Sports.
Dick, they used another timeout, but it was a very good timeout by Rodney Williams of Clemson.
Good quarterbacking that time. He saw that they had been setting their offensive strength to the short side of the field to run the option, and he saw that the defense this time had moved over. He said, I don't want to run it over there now. I want to go the other way. Timeout.
Well, of course, they're thinking winning right now, but you got to think about the field goal kicker, Treadwell. He's missed a couple tonight.
But he has kicked the game winner in the final seconds of the game this year against Georgia, so he has that kind of ability.
3rd down and 4 as we come back from the timeout.